So talk to me. What do you think about these?
It's wrong.
That was fast. Here I am expecting to be like, so I don't. You're like, no, it's wrong.
No. Defense should be flat 0. I know what you're saying about the misprint.
Welcome to the Kindred Spirit Podcast, a program completely dedicated to the board game Spirit Island. On this show, we examine and discuss every aspect of the game, whether they be general tips, in-depth strategies, or silly shenanigans. Today, we commence our series of looking at each and every spirit in the game individually to get an in-depth look at who they are and what they can do. For this episode, we are taking a look at Lightning Swift Strike.
It's finally happening, Ryan!
Oh!
Spirit analysis! Woo!
The child of a passing storm spirit, Lightning Swift Strike danced off the shores of the island many ages ago, and liked it enough to stay. It spends much of its time resting in quiet, waking up to dance through the sky when the winds blow strong. It only concerns itself occasionally with the Dahan, usually appearing out of nowhere to send them off on some obscure errand. The Dahan cooperate, partly out of wary respect for Lightning's power, but as much for the sake of the Thunder Speaker, Lightning's child, who is a patron and ally of their people. Most spirits of storm travel the sky, never touching down or staying in any one place for too long. But a few find a place they're sufficiently drawn to stay, often a site with high winds or violent weather. Spirits of lightning are especially prone to this, finding the earth below more interesting than their cloud-formed brethren. Lightning Swift Strike was born long ago of a storm spirit off the shores of Spirit Island. It decided to stay in the instant it first struck ground, and has remained ever since. Lightning destroys with a fierce and glorious joy, not for the sake of destruction itself, but for the exaltation of swiftness in power. Thank you, Editing Ryan. We'll take it from here. Sounded kind of fun, right?
Yeah, that was awesome.
So, John, on August 4th, 2020, something happened. Do you remember, perhaps, what happened on August 4th, 2020?
Did we announce that we were being a podcast? No? Did we start recording?
We did air in September.
Oh, I was close. Then I don't know. It was close.
On August 4th, 2020...
Did we buy a microphone?
On August 4th, 2020, we recorded Lightning Analysis.
Whoa!
It was among the first things we ever did. However, as things played out, you'll remember that I had a hard drive crash.
Mm-hmm.
We recorded both Lightning Analysis and River Analysis all the way back in the first 8 episodes that we did.
I'm kind of happy they got lost.
The analysis series actually started way back then.
Wow.
We commenced this technically before we even started, before we went public.
Yeah.
And because of my hard drive crash, unfortunately, we lost those episodes.
Yeah.
And we were like, oh, man, because they were so good. It was like 2 hours worth of recording.
Sure. I hate when we lose things.
And they were effectually nominated to us as the lost episodes. We've never actually talked about them before because why?
Because they're lost.
They're gone.
Yeah.
Well, there's no point. But, point being, the thing that's really cool, what just happened, is a little private win for me. For lo, the script I just read from was written 2 years ago.
Wow.
And I kept it this time because I knew at some point we were going to get back to it. Ironically, after we recorded those episodes, the reason why we delayed is because we were like, you know what?
I actually think we can do this better than what we just did.
Yeah.
And so, on one hand, I'm mad that we just lost all that work, because we had some great jokes in there. Some phenomenal ones.
We're really funny.
It was the one about when you went off script. And I was like, that's not what the script says. Stick to the script. Stick to the script. And you're like, we have a script.
I can't read.
There were some good jokes in there.
Yeah, there was.
So anyway, the thing was, is like, you know what? You and I were like, we already have some ideas on how we can do that better.
Yeah.
So we actually put a pause on that because we knew Jagged Earth was about to come out. And we were like, you know what? We don't want to start a spirit analysis where we would get into the new DLC expansion characters. And, we've only played them once, twice.
Right.
So it actually works out better this way. So let's delay it a season so that we can actually get a lot, not just a little, but a lot of experience with Jagged Earth peeps. And then start the spirit analysis when we actually have a plethora of experience under our belt for all these various spirits in different settings and different player counts against different adversaries and different scenarios.
Sure.
Because we thought we could do this spirit analysis better once we knew how all these new aspect cards work, once we knew all these new spirit interactions work with the new characters that were coming in. So all this to say, this has been a meaningful preamble.
Wow.
And a very long one to today.
And I'm also kind of happy we lost some because we weren't reaching out to the community as much because we were babies back then. You know, we didn't really...
We were not a community-driven podcast back then.
Not at all. So we were just going to do spirit analysis with just us two talking.
Yeah, it was like a 50-minute affair, and we're like, all right, that's done, next.
Well, that's all I have to say.
And I'm just a better player now than I was back then.
Yeah, well, 2 years later for sure.
I've grown so much. You all out there listening to this, if you ever have the opportunity to realize how much growth as a human you can have in a year or 2 years' time because you have a journal, or in this case, a audio journal here where you can see your progress in various things. For us, we get to listen to our past selves. It's awkward and painful sometimes.
No, I hate it.
But it's really cool to see how far you've come in some areas of life.
Definitely, for sure. Oh, man, that is so cool to think about.
Yeah.
I forgot about those lost episodes.
Yeah, we recorded those before we ever even started. We had 8. We had 8 episodes in the backlog before season 1 started when we aired. And among those was the lost episodes.
And we've talked about this before. We have a shared doc, Ryan, Laura, and I, that we all can contribute to, give thoughts to. It's basically our outline for each episode. And I forgot our spirit analysis is at the top. Of this 20-page document that is turned into.
At the moment, it is...
What is it?
26.
26 pages. It was page 1. Because like you said, it was early on. We're like, we're going to do spirits.
Sometimes you may have seen us... I've definitely done this on the Discord where I'll be like, Sure, I'll go put this on the list. Some people come to us with ideas like, okay, I'll put it on the list.
Yeah.
This shared Google Doc is our list. And when we are done with a topic, we delete it. So it's not like it only increases, it decreases too.
Yeah.
All right, here are our notes for this topic. Cool, fun 5, done, delete.
Delete them.
And it goes from, I don't know, like 19 to 15 when we do that. It's currently 26.
We basically only save the stats.
Yeah.
Of things. Because I like to see those.
I like to see those too, yeah.
Anyway, lightning!
So, we've heard about their lore.
Yes.
That's who they are. This spirit is so dope.
Yeah. Oh.
So cool.
Love lightning.
So, let's talk about their theme. Gotta go fast. That's what I have in my...
Sonic? Right.
Sonic.
Go.
Given the fact that they are low complexity, they're arguably the first attacker.
Yeah.
The OG attacker.
That you will play in this game.
So their theme, they're all about speed and damage.
Yep. Offense, quick.
And it makes sense. The element of lightning is one of the fastest things in life.
Sure.
You know, people say faster than lightning or back in a flash for a reason because of how fast it is.
And you always see the lightning and then you hear the thunder.
Yeah.
In a storm type of thing.
So this is our speed freak. So let's go ahead and talk about their role on the team, or at least what the role that they give to the roster if this is like a character-based shooter and maybe like Overwatch.
Yeah.
Or a game like that. So, they are a dedicated attacker.
Yep.
It is very simple to understand. There's hardly a secondary focus. And given the fact that they are a low complexity, they are the OG attacker. Lightning is the OG attacker. Earth is the original defender. River is the original controller. And Shadows is the original fear spirit.
Mm-hmm.
And back then, 4 players was the maximum that you can play. So as a 4-person team, it's like these 4 things, offense, defense, control, fear, were championed by one spirit. And each one of them had something to do with helping somebody. So utility was kind of split. So
that's so cool when you think about like those 4, you're basically describing the summary of powers.
Right.
And they all embody one, and then all of them have utility.
Right. Lightning's Boon. River has Boon of Vigor. Earth has Gift of Strength. And Shadows has Mantle of Dread. Mm-hmm. So it's just kind of cool to see the simplicity of like, oh yeah, these are like the OG characters.
Can I put forth, not an argument, or just like, I'm putting this on the table type of thing. I want to make the case that Lightning's second highest trait, because I'm just looking at their summary powers right now.
Oh, we'll talk about it.
Okay.
We'll talk about it.
I don't think it's what it says on the thing.
I actually wanted to ask you that question, and I wanted that to be something that we do ask for every spirit going into this analysis series. So yes, Lightning is a dedicated attacker. They are great against buildings. Yeah. Arguably one of, if not the best anti-building character in the game. If you had to ask me really quick, who is the best anti-building characters, I'd be like, Lightning, Downpour, Thunderspeaker. Not necessarily in that order, but just that's who I think of. Lightning is among the first. Yeah. I mean, Thundering Destruction, hello. You just get to destroy him, just... It's not deal damage to them. Just like,
just destroy. And then Shattered Homesteads. Right. We'll get to all their powers, but
so they are a dedicated attacker, but they are proficient against buildings, not necessarily explorers, but we'll get into that. Yet they do, although it's low, they have some appreciable fear gains.
Yeah,
I'd say.
For sure.
I'd say.
Some good fear.
Yep.
Usually from the Thundering Destruction.
We'll get into it. So their complexity is low, but they have some interesting choices to make.
Okay.
And I think that low doesn't mean that you literally have one way to play them. It just means that when you look at the tools, you're not melting your brain fractured style.
I think just hearing you say that, and I've like yelled in the past, like, new players should not play Lightning. Remember I had that stance? Having looked...
Had? Did you just say had that stance?
Anyway, people can change. Remember we were talking about 2 years ago how people can grow? Let me qualify. As we're doing this series and, re-looking at the spirits, I think Lightning is probably the easiest spirit to play in the entire game. I really do. I don't know if that's good for new players. Because I've made the case about the fast,
but that's
slow
a different,
pace.
right?
That's a different thing. I think out of the 24, like what's easier than offense? Like we're talking about blow things up. What's easier than taking things off the map? Because river control is hard to be like, what am I doing really with control?
Sure.
In Shadows, I think like Ted and Eric have blatantly said this should have been a moderate spirit for Shadows.
Well, and they even said right from the get-go, Shadows is literally printed as a low complexity, but understand of the lows, they are the most complex.
They are the most complex.
Whereas Lightning has been touted as the easiest.
Right. And then Earth, you're kind of like, what am I doing? I'm not playing a card, but my special rule's defending me. So it's like, maybe that's hard to grasp. Or it's like, I'm not doing as much. I'm not triggering my innates. But Lightning, it's just like, it makes sense. I've never seen a person struggle with Lightning.
Well, I think it's such an honest thing, too. We need to get bad guys off the board. This character really kills bad guys. Cool. Let's do it.
That's the win state? All right, I'll blow things up.
Yep.
You don't have to worry about spirit phases, fast or slow.
Right.
You're all fast.
Yep.
Just worry about one phases. Blow things up.
So let's look at this summary of powers. All right. Understandably so, their offense is phenomenal.
No arguments here.
It's pegged.
It's the top one.
As a helpful reminder, the summary of powers, the bars that you see there, are only indicative and comparable to the other bars on that spirit's board, not the bars of other spirits' boards.
Good reminder.
I think it would be cool, though, and we've said this in the past, if they somehow attached a value, a numeric value to those.
I wish, Ryan.
That'd be difficult to do. Might be kind of fun.
Yeah.
I just like to see what maybe like the dev team thinks
out
as
of
whose offense is better between Lightning and Vengeance. They're both very high.
Right.
Wildfire's is very high. I'd just be really curious to see, what do you think? Would one be a 7? Who would be a 9?
Yeah, like
Who
out
would
of
be
10.
8?
Who's an 8 out of 10?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Complete curiosity. 100%
like
curiosity.
Finder, 10 out of 10 control type of thing. But like, who else has high? Yeah, that would be really cool.
Oh, did you hear that? By the way, get this. We're talking about lightning, and we are literally in a thunderstorm right now.
It's been going on for the past hour.
You hear that? I'm not sure if the mic can pick it up or not, but the window is open because it gets hot in here, so we're ventilating the room, but it's raining outside. How perfect.
It's very on theme.
That we are. Do you know why it took us so long to get to this? We were waiting for a thunderstorm.
Pause.
On a Monday night where we conveniently have an opening.
It worked out. Don't worry about it.
Oh, we had blizzards. We just didn't have...
Don't worry, it's still Cleveland. We get our snow.
So, yeah, it's hilarious. It's literally a thunderstorm. Anyway, back to summary powers. Yeah, their offense.
Yep.
Pegged. Literally
the
their
top.
number one thing.
Mm-hmm.
Their control is actually not so bad.
No.
It's not so bad when you regard them as someone who's just pure offense. It's not good, but it's not zip. It's
zero.
low. Their control is pretty low, but it's not zip.
It's not the lowest either.
Correct.
Yeah.
Then look at their second most. It's fear. This bar says that fear is their
2.
second best. Now, judging the length of this bar, it looks like, what, would you call that half?
Yeah.
About half as good as what their offense is?
Yeah, I would say that.
Okay. So fear is pretty good. Right now, offense is their best, control is their worst, and fear is second as far as like what we've currently said. And then there's
defense.
Look at defense.
What defense?
This little blip. It's like,
I don't even think it should be a blip. I think it should be none.
I think this blip is just to show that like this isn't a misprint. Like, no, it's intentionally really low.
I think you're right.
It's just a tiny little blip.
It's a little
No one's
sliver.
surprised. No one's surprised.
No.
It's supposed to be that low. Easily their worst thing. Just to cut through the comedy and just who cares if it's a spoiler. Their defense is their lowest.
They have none. No defense.
And then their utility is actually pretty good.
Yeah.
It's pretty low. But it's
looks to me in line
honestly,
with control.
it looks correct. In my opinion, it looks like it's the same as control.
Right, so tied for third.
Yeah. So their offense is their best. Their fear is their second best, according to the summary powers. Control and utility, not bad. Like, they represent a little bit. And then defense is, no. But hey, isn't the phrase, a good offense is a good defense?
There you go. And that's what they are. Pure offense.
So talk to me. What do you think about these?
It's wrong.
That was fast. Here I am expecting to be like, so, I don't, you're like, no, it's wrong.
No. Defense should be flat 0. I know what you're saying about the misprint. I think utility should be 2. They're second highest.
Okay.
Here's my...
Talk to me.
I know we're talking about... It's not about what the spirit can become or what they find in the power deck, because any spirit can change.
Sure.
You know, lightning can draft, quicken the ear struggles, be a defensive spirit.
Right.
We're talking about where they're starting with, what they are.
Right. These summaries of powers describe what the character's strengths are at game start.
At game start.
Because, I mean, like, if you factor in the fact that Downpour can find Rain of Blood...
Oh, they're the best fear
then
spirit in the game.
Then their fear would be pegged.
They're the best fear spirit in the game.
The fear bar on their board would be pegged. You know?
So bearing that in mind, they start with Lightning Spoon. And as we,
which is where their utility is coming from.
And it's one of the best in the game. And we both had it in our top 10 in our gift series. Like, this is a strong card. Yeah. Say you play an 8-turn game. And out of those 8 turns, you probably have Lightning Spoon 6 times.
Yeah.
Because of reclaim loops. I know it's the joke. I know it's the meme. It's true.
But the thing is when you have card play that good and a reclaim loop that consistent, you're going to have this card.
Reclaim loop. So if you are being that supportive that consistently, like 75% of the time,
I can see it.
You are using one of the strongest support powers in the game.
Yeah, I think about that,
I think the support can be a little bit higher.
Because, yes, it's one card, but seeing how you're going to be in a reclaim loop, you're going to be doing that card all the time. Statistically.
We talked about this with Boon of Vigor. Like, yeah, this is a strong card, but because
River has a reclaim 1, it
kind of makes it stronger.
Yeah, I see it.
I also think, so we talked about defense is nil. So we will talk about Harbingers of Lightning, but that's basically a control Dahan power.
Yeah, it's their only thing.
It's their only thing. Because their defense is 0, I think Harbingers is a utility if you're playing along with somebody. Because you can push Dahan to an earth, to an ocean, to a downpour, and have them defend. Or to a trickster. You can push them to a thunder speaker and have them join an army type of thing. I think that, because they have 0 use for Dahan, you're just blowing things up.
Yeah, you naturally start with a single Dahan thing with Harbingers of Lightning, and we joked last time about, if you don't find any defend cards or a way to strife bad guys, perhaps, or just some way to keep Dahan alive, this card,
You feel like you're sending them to their death.
I can see what you mean in the fact that, like, it's utility and the fact that it's helping others, but it is still control.
It's still control. But I see it almost like I'm supporting the Thunder Speaker
But
army.
it's control with the mindset of I might not even use these, so it's control to help others, and that way it's team supporting.
So, like, in a flat definition, it is not utility.
Right.
I agree.
So you're saying it's very similar to the movement that Keeper does.
Yes. I
Kind
think
of.
that's a utility thing with their special rule, like you're saying.
Yeah.
They don't
Like
have
it
to use.
it is control.
Yeah.
Full stop. It is control.
But they have no
But
use
you're
for them.
using it to directly help another player.
Yeah.
Because you're like, I'm not going to use him here.
Someone else can.
Okay.
So, obviously, it's mostly Lightning's Boon, but because they have no real use for Dahan, like you said, unless we pull a defense card, you can support, because almost every spirit in this game either defends or uses Dahan in some way.
Sure.
A lot of them either have defend cards. And I was thinking, like, oh, Fangs, they can move Dahan, but they don't have defense. But there's so many good, like, animal plant defend cards in the deck. So, I don't know. I think that is a way of support. I will never say that utility is higher than offense, but I could kind of see that being too, because Lightning's Boon is so strong.
So here's the thing. Do you think their utility is better than their fear?
Yes.
Okay.
I could do like the easy.
It depends.
It depends.
It depends on how many buildings there are and how often you're triggering
maybe Tide.
Thundering Destruction.
Can I land on Tide? I think they should at least be higher than Control. Maybe tied with Fear.
I think I'm okay with where they are.
Okay.
I do like that comment about having Lightning's Boon.
So often.
But then at the same time, if you have Lightning's Boon, then that means you're consistently getting fire air element, which means you're hitting Thundering Destruction, which means you're blowing people up,
which is fear.
Which is offense and is fear. Yeah.
Okay.
I can see the argument, yeah.
I think...
Dang, dude, you hear that rain picking up?
It is picking up.
I'm leaving that in. It's too perfect. It is way too perfect that it's raining right now.
It's so on theme. Anyway,
also, this room gets so warm.
Do you think that's also just me as a supportive player? So I kind of just like...
Probably.
I really latch on to support things.
I think so.
So I'm like, no, they're only support. And Ryan's like, well, they blow things up. No, they don't.
Like I said, it is control.
I'll be honest, I'm biased.
So, Lightning Setup simply says, place 2 presents on your starting board in the highest numbered sands.
Oh.
Okay, pretty simple.
Makes sense that they would
Nothing
be in
crazy.
the sands, yeah.
Highest numbered sands. You know, they don't strike me as a desert spirit, but, you know, they are a wind and air spirit.
Yeah.
That makes sense. So, what is your preferred board to play on?
I just like Seaboard in general.
So almost always Seaboard is my go-to.
Yeah, it's like, what spirit? Doesn't matter, Seaboard.
In Lightning's case, ironically, with the exception of A board, for different reasons, it's all of them
Yeah.
that are our favorites.
I do like F a lot as a newer board that we start to play on now.
The reason why we like C board and B board is because the highest numbered sand in that board is centrally located, which means that you can pretty much go in very many directions. Also, it's very good because that's 2 presents in there, which is a sacred site, and Lightning likes their sacred sites because their strongest powers require them. The cool thing about C, D, E, and F board, though, is that with a single growth 2 option where you can place 2 presents making a sacred site, on each of those boards, do that once, and if you grow to the right place, you can literally cover every single land on your board with sacred site coverage.
Wow.
Which is really cool.
Just from, you're basically from turn 1.
Yeah.
From turn 1 to growth 2, you can touch every single land.
Yeah. And that's really cool.
Yeah, that's huge.
So, B, C, D, E, and F for those reasons, if any of you care about that.
Yeah.
A actually isn't bad either. It just technically takes the longest to cover.
Yep.
Here's a quick question. What color do you prefer to play as with Lightning? For me, it's usually orange, red, or yellow.
Okay. I'm like, sometimes it is red, but a lot of times it's yellow because they're pictured as yellow in a lot of their art.
Yellow, yeah. And orange didn't come until Jagged Earth or the 5 or 6 player expansion that they had back in the day. The Neoprene playmat came with a 5th and 6th player color and some additional Dahan pieces and Invader pieces. But the green and orange color were available as expansion
I feel like Lightning would be weird being green or something.
Right.
You know?
Right. I'm just saying
no, I know.
Green and orange came
I'm just thinking about the different colors. Like, it has to be a leaf spirit, right? It can't be green.
This is completely my opinion. I found it strange that green of all colors wasn't in the starting game.
Yeah.
Usually in board gaming, the primary colors are blue, red, green, yellow. And then expansion colors, purple, orange, brown, teal, black, white.
No, we got purple first.
Huh. literally, like, don't even read into that because I'm not making any implications here. I'm just like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I wonder how they land on that position.
It's weird to see one of the primary colors come later.
Yeah.
You know, yes, I know the technical definition of primary colors is red, yellow, blue. Green is a secondary color, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, they're very common color and like purple. Yeah. Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, orange, red, or yellow if able.
Okay.
If I had to pick in a certain order, orange, then yellow, then red.
See, I would have yellow on top.
On top? That's fine.
Yeah. That's awesome.
So, let's flip this board over and talk about their special rules.
Ooh.
Or in this case, their special rule. It is a simple one, but boy is it cool. What is it, John?
It is called Swiftness of Lightning. For every air element you have, you may use one slow power as if it were fast power.
Oh.
Power cards or your innate powers.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh, it says innate powers, and base lightning only has one. Did they know that
aspects
were going to be a thing?
I'm sure they probably did, or maybe had an inkling in mind.
I don't know. We'll ask them someday. Yeah. So, for every air element you have, boy, that would be a big, genuine shame if, oh wait, all your cards start with air.
Okay, cool. So every power's fast.
Every single one of yours can be fast. Now, I remember when I first started looking at the game, I was like, all right, lightning is known for speed. Cool. They're lightning. They're fast.
Gotta go fast.
I look at their cards. I see slow, 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 and only one card is fast. I'm like, what?
But they're supposed to be fast.
I thought they were supposed to be fast. How does this make? That doesn't make any sense. And then, oh, wait a minute. For every air you have, looks again at the cards, seeing every card has air. Oh, you have the choice to make them all slow or fast. Except for Lightning's Boon, that one's just forever fast, but you wouldn't want that one to be slow anyway. So.
I like what you said there. That is a choice. And I don't think I saw that as I was early playing Lightning.
Yeah.
I was like, they're always fast. There's that mini game that you're talking about.
I quickly discovered, I was like, oh, there's this gameplay style with Lightning. Mm-hmm. If you choose fast, that's better for board control, which is more defensive-minded. If you go slow phase, that's better for fear, because that means you're letting builds happen, which means you are then blowing up buildings, which now generate fear. But sometimes you do want that board state. They're about to blight.
Right.
Quick, kill that dude in the fast phase so that they don't blight. Later, when you maybe have accepted a blight here or a friend has taken care of it, or you don't need to like quickly get in there, I'm going to let them build.
Let them build that town.
There's a town and an explorer in that land, so when they build, they're going to build a city. I know.
To fear.
Because that's to fear.
Yeah.
So that was something I thought was really interesting. Like, oh.
So what you're describing, that took me a minute to learn in my Lightning plays. Because, this was a starter spirit for a lot of us. But I didn't see that other fold, that other wrinkle. I was just like, do everything in the fast, blow it. Fast. It's like, but what if we do earn an extra fear? What if we do let this build, John? I'm like, oh, I get a choice.
I'll remind you that my hesitance towards blight, I say hesitance. It was like a no blight allowed.
No blight here.
I was in such abject terror of blight that I relied on better board state control and making sure that everything was clear. So I usually spam fast things.
Sure, and I did the same thing. You're so right where even though this is a low complexity, there is some depth here.
Yeah.
With that choice.
I like that.
I like that too.
And it's important to realize that in the spirit phase, you get the elements from a card the moment you pay for it. So the moment you pay for a card, you get that element, so you make it fast then and there. If you want to. It's a choice.
Yeah.
It says you may do this. You don't have to. But that's really cool because it gives you that flexibility to do that. I can't tell you how many times a newer player, once they understand what Lightning does, as far as, oh, I have Lightning's Boon, I can make you fast. And then they're like, wait, how are you going fast? I thought you gave me Lightning's Boon this turn. Oh, I can do it myself, even better.
That's my special rule.
Oh, like, yes, Lightning's Boon just makes you behave like me. I can do this for all of my stuff.
I can do this all day, baby.
And they're like, wait, I thought you gave it to me. And like, I did. I can do it too.
I love that.
And that's like a fun moment. But it actually has happened with surprising regularity. It's actually happened a few times.
Oh, yeah, for sure. People are like, wait, how are you doing this too?
Yeah.
I'm just like you.
So, let's talk about them growth options. I'll make this comment that I want to make right now after we're done.
Okay.
Let's talk about Growth 1.
Growth 1 is reclaim cards.
No surprise.
Gain a power card. And gain 1 energy, which is nice.
Honestly, not bad.
Yeah, not bad. I'd be happy with that on most spirits.
There are a lot of spirits that don't have 3 things in their Growth 1.
Sometimes
a lot of it are 2 things.
Right.
Maybe they get some energy.
Maybe, yeah.
Some characters are really great in the fact that they can reclaim cards and place a presence.
Ooh.
A lot of Team Rock is
Yep.
like this. Volcano, Memory, Earth. They can do it. Anyone that does pick 2, technically, like you can pick 2 growth
true.
options.
Yep.
I guess we should say yes, Lightning only picks 1.
Yes.
With their growths, I suppose we should probably nominate them. It wasn't until expansion content, or technically, I guess, Serpent.
Yeah.
But they were a promo pack 1.
Green
but it wasn't.
Was kind of like always do this?
Correct. It's not a growth 2. It's just
not a growth 2.
wonky.
Yeah.
It's just,
it was different.
It's growth 1, but whichever one you pick, you add this thing on the side.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily a genuine pick 2, but point being, with Lightning, they only get to pick 1 growth option at a time. And so, yes, we get to reclaim power cards. That's nice. Gain a power card and 1 energy.
Yeah.
Like you said, that's nice.
I would take that.
That's good. A lot of characters have like 2 things.
Yeah.
Some characters even have just 1.
Some people don't gain energy.
Right. So it's nice. It helps you a little bit with everything. You will quickly learn, however, though, that this is the only way to get power cards.
Wait, what?
Unfortunately, Growth 1 is, the only way that you can get new cards, which is one of the reasons why their reclaim loop is so good.
Because, like I said, the only way to get cards, and you get bonus energy to play those cards that you're getting.
Right. Technically a spoiler in the fact that we kind of gave away that their other growth options don't do that, but yeah, whatever.
Yeah, I'm sure you guys know this, so.
Yep. Growth 2. It's pretty nice. It is very simple. You get to add 2 presents. The first presence can be range 2 away from where you are, and the second presence is range 0.
Oh, you're making sacred sites.
So what this means is you can either make a single land that you already have into a sacred site and then just start making progress elsewhere, or that first one can go 2 away and immediately you sacred site that sucker.
Oh, yeah.
Which is really cool. That's all it does. Growth 2, just 2 presents. That's it.
Yeah, we'll talk about it later, huh? But yeah, you need these sacred sites.
You need these sacred sites, so it's very convenient and very nice to have something that gets it to you so easily and so readily. And it's also nice, I know that you really like this, when there's a spirit that has an opportunity to like, bam, bam, really grow quick and keep that tempo up. It's very simple to understand, but it's pretty cool, the flexibility of just the fact that one of them is range 2, one of them is range 0. Perhaps if you lost one in a Ravage, you can make it a sacred site again really quick. And then, like I said, you can still get another presence out there, even if that one's not a sacred site to range 2. Spit that somewhere and get some range
that's a
for
good
various
point.
things.
I think one thing I try and do with Lightning, especially with this growth too, is when you're making those sacred sites, try and have like high adjacencies. I try not to make a sacred site like in a corner where there's only like 2 lands next to me. But if there's like a middle land with 4 or 5 lands, or I'm touching all my coasts, because we'll talk about why Lightning needs sacred sites, but I try and be like, okay, if this is touching 5 different lands, I'm going there. Because I want a heavy influence on the island with my sacred site touching all these different lands.
Right on. And growth 3.
Growth 3 stings.
Ooh.
I mean,
we'll talk.
Okay, you can add a presence 1 away. Not bad. Nothing crazy.
Always good adding a presence.
Yeah,
never complain.
Like you said, you're moving along. You're going to a different land. Gain 3 energy.
That's not bad.
That's nice.
That is a good energy spike.
Yeah,
that is a good energy spike.
And that's it.
That's it.
It's missing one thing, Ryan. It's missing one.
So
it needs something else.
I've always felt that Lightning had very clunky growth options.
It's the growth 3.
So I'm okay with them having a double presence option.
Yeah, that's great. Love growth 2.
I so badly wish that they had a way to gain presence, even if it's just 1, even if it's at range 0, and gain a power card.
Wow.
We'll get to this, but oh my goodness,
wow.
Lightning needs cards so bad, and you only get it when you reclaim.
So that's why you reclaim all the time. If it was like a gain 2 energy and a power card, ooh.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't have to be 3.
Look at this. Look at how different their gameplay changes. If you take the gain power card, take it away from growth 1 and insert it into growth 3.
That'd be so cool.
Growth 2 can stay the same.
Okay.
But just tweak growth 1 and 3 and just take away the power card from growth 1 and give it to growth 3.
I want to like play test that.
That is entirely different.
I want to try that out.
It is so different.
But I think I don't know if I'd like it better. I like that because we talked about how I don't like reclaiming because I always reclaim. So if I could stretch that out and maybe not have to play 5 cards every turn, but get a power card every turn. Ooh.
Yeah.
That's okay.
So this is a very meat and potatoes growth option.
Yeah.
Their growth options are very straightforward, very meat and potatoes. They're not flashy. They're not crazy. Obviously, this is a low complexity. It needs to be very straightforward and whatnot. Yet it provides a very impactful choice to the player. Because turn 1, the growth option that you do dramatically changes a lot of your early game. And we'll get into that. We'll get into that. So let's talk about these slightly better, in my opinion, not as clunky tracks.
Okay.
Once again, this is a low complexity spirit, so they need to be pretty straightforward. And back then, I think a low complexity in 2017 versus what today in 2022, what a low complexity would be, are quite different.
Yeah, for sure.
And, they had a lot more experience with the game now. They have a lot more experience with the game with various expansions and whatnot.
Because this spirit was designed before the game even came out to anyone.
Right, sure.
They didn't know how people would react.
So it's showing its age, perhaps. But it's also showing the fact that it's supposed to be easy to comprehend.
And it is.
So let's talk about these tracks. One thing that's really cool, growth tracks have a huge impact on a spirit. How big they are and at what values are printed on the various locations of these tracks, because these are Spirit Island's tech trees.
Mm-hmm.
And when you get a certain upgrade is huge to a spirit. So it's really cool to see.
Because you could have gain 50 energy, but if it's your last thing you're unlocking, you might never ever get to that. So you're not broken. You're not an overpowered spirit.
And you can tell sometimes you look at a track and you see something really nice at the end of that track. And you're like, oh. It's what usually tempts you to a lot of various things. And it's kind of cool the amount of decision making that tracks provide for a player.
With the top track, you have energy. So it is 1, 1, 2, 2. 3, 4, 4, and 5. Ooh, how many duplicates do we have there? Yikes! Oh no!
So, that is a very large top track. Every spirit in the game has 13 presents that they have available to them. Some spirits start with a lot. Mm-hmm. Some start with just 1. Serpent starts with 1 presence on the field. Lightning starts with 2 presents on the field, which means they have 11 to go through on their presence tracks. Their top track, they start with 1 energy.
That's nice.
That's actually not bad.
A lot of spirits start with 0.
I know that 1 sounds really low. But there are a lot of people who have 0s.
Yep.
As a Mist main.
As a Shadows main. We got 0 over here. Hopefully Ryan doesn't drive fire cards.
Yeah. But it takes 7 presents to fully upgrade this thing. And like you said, it repeats multiple times.
So many duplicates.
Double 1 to 1.
Yeah.
Then from 2 to 2.
Double 2s.
Then from 2 to 3, okay, that's nice. Then from 3 to 4.
Oh, wow.
4 to 4, and 4 to 5.
You ain't getting 5.
Yeah, I, as a player, am not enthralled by inefficient
one. It's like Bringer's bottom track.
tracks. And I call them inefficient. What I mean by that is that I just hate getting repeats on a track.
Me too. It stings.
I am progressing closer towards higher stats, but you've all felt the annoying when you upgrade.
Feels like nothing's changed.
Nothing's changed.
Yeah.
I'm not improving. Yeah.
But raise that bottom track. Let's get to the good.
However, their bottom track is much better. It only requires 4 presents to fully unlock.
Wow.
As opposed to 7 with their top track. You start the game with 2 card plays.
Wow.
No joke, that is amazing.
Wait till we get to Earth.
That is amazing. Already, you can already tell this spirit's focus, mechanically and thematically.
Yeah.
Strength is represented by energy gain. Speed is represented by card play. You could already tell this spirit is fast. Mm-hmm. The first time you upgrade, it goes from 2 to 3.
Whoa.
Then it goes from 3 to 4. Then it goes from 4 to 5. And from 5 to freaking 6.
6, Ryan. That's insane.
3 is respectable. 4 is this
4 I'm happy with.
Healthy standard. 5 is very good.
5 you're getting a little crazy.
6 is unheard of.
6 is insane.
We wouldn't see another character get to this high numbers of card play until Fractured. And they have to purposefully spike their card play with a growth action.
Sure.
Lightning can do 6 as a base when fully upgraded.
Yeah.
That is ridiculous.
By turn 2, they can get to 6 card plays.
That is crazy.
Wow.
This is amazing. So, when fully upgraded, they are a 5/6. 5 energy, 6 card play. And they start as a 1/2.
Insane.
Yeah. I do think there is a buyer beware with this high card play. We'll get into that, but we just have to like things as they are. That's phenomenal. That is amazing.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, there aren't any elements or fun bonuses like move it to Han or move a presence or reclaim one. Boy, any number of those things would go.
That would help so much.
Do wonders for Lightning. But that being said, their top track, not so great. Bottom track, phenomenal.
Amazing.
But you can play into either because of these things with your growth options.
It's just funny how night and day they are. You're so right. They are all speed. Because what is there? There's 3 doubles, 3 duplicates on the top track. And no repeats on the bottom.
None.
And so it's like, I should always go bottom because that's where I'm always upgrading. It's like,
yep. And when you're Earth, you're like, I finally got to 2 card
I can
play.
play 2!
And you're like, I have yet to pull a presence from card play, and I've been at you this whole time.
You guys weren't always here?
Flip the script, though. Lightning's like, I'm finally getting 2 energy a turn. Earth's like, LOL, what?
Sorry. So yeah, it's cool to see the differences there.
Yeah. Let's talk about their innates.
Singular.
They're innate. But hey, that's fine. All the low complexity characters in this game had 1 innate. And what is it, John?
It is called Thundering Destruction.
A very famous one.
Speed, slow. LOL. Range 1 from a sacred site and target land any. I love those any's.
Great. Yep. So the only restriction is a sacred site.
Go back to that
and
growth.
You can make them pretty easily.
Yeah, keep doing that growth too.
Of all the restrictions to be under, this is not bad.
No, not bad at all. All right, with first tier, 3 fire, 2 air, destroy a town.
Mm-hmm.
Not 2 damage. Next tier, 4 fire, 3 air. You may instead destroy a city.
Yeah.
Whoa.
That's so great. Wow. At level 2.
At level 2, you're destroying cities. Third tier, 5 fire, 4 air, 1 water. Also destroy a town/city.
Nice.
On top of that original city/town you destroyed.
Sure.
Last tier, the 4th one, 5 fire, 5 air, 2 water. Also destroy another town/city. You can destroy 3 cities.
So, when fully upgraded, yeah, this innate can, at maximum, destroy 3 buildings.
Insane.
Through the various levels, you can change what buildings they destroy.
Yeah.
But as you understand that powers only ever go on 1 land, you see here that this power nukes 1 land. And it does it very effectively because you are directly hitting the biggest threats on the board.
Cities.
And towns, if there's a bunch of them.
Oh, yeah, the towns too.
But very much the cities. We've talked about in the past how great it is that it's destroy. We do not care about England at all. You just look at a building and they're gone, and you're like, that's what I thought.
We don't talk about durable.
But since you have no defense, you're going to be blighting all the time anyway, so you are fine.
There you go. No more durability.
So it is interesting to see, though, that when you look at the various levels, Thundering Destruction is an innate power that has 4 levels. Level 1 requires 5 elements.
Yeah.
Level 2, 7. Level 3, 10.
10 elements.
That's actually decent.
That's right.
That is very decent.
Yeah.
And fully upgraded at level 4 requires 12. It requires 12. I think it's important to know, and this is one metric I kind of want to bring up with these various analysis.
Yeah.
What level of your innates can you hit with your starting hand only?
Good.
When it
I'm
comes
glad you're bringing this up.
to lightning, turns out you can get to level 2.
Okay.
You can almost get level 3
So
with your
close.
starting hand.
It's 1 more fire.
You just need 1 more fire.
So,
but with your starting hand, you can get to level 2.
And that is not to be sneezed at. Level 2, I say trigger
you,
that as quickly and as often as possible.
It's 1 building, but it's your choice now.
But now it's your choice.
Level 1 gets rid of a building. Only gets rid of 1 invader, and it has to be a town.
Yeah.
Level 2, also 1 invader, but it's your choice.
And now it can be a city. That is not to be sneezed at. Do you know how many spirits wish they can just take out a city with their innate? You know, River's like, I can do 2 damage to everyone, but that city still remains.
Yeah.
Or Fangs.
I hope for you, in River's case, that city was in the coast.
There you go. Yeah, I hope flash floods.
But at that point, the thing is that it could be anywhere, because when you are triggering massive flooding, that is not your early game.
That's true. The fact that you can just pop cities with your starting hand, like you said, and even though it is only tier 2, destroying a city is no
really
joke.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's no joke, and it's great. Level 3, you can get finally a second building of your choice, and level 4, it's a third building of your choice.
Oh, those are like cherry on top.
It's really nice. Thundering Destruction, this is primarily, in my opinion, I don't think this is a hot take. I would go out on a limb and say this is their fear generator.
Yeah.
Yes, they can get fear from other things. You can find cards, and you can literally get fear in a little bit from their cards, and we'll go over those in a minute. But this is the thing that gets you your fear.
You can get 6 fear from this.
If you blow up 3 cities, that is 6 fear.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
And that's just from the innate. That's, like you said, not talking about the
And
cards
it is really good as an attacker to have an attacky innate power, because innate powers can happen every single turn.
Every turn.
It is very nice to have that, because when you have attack cards and you're like, yeah, I have a board filled with bad guys, let's go and bring the pain. Okay, I did my attack turn. I blew some people up. I did some damage. Nice. And I'm going to have to reclaim if I'm going to do that again.
Now I reclaim, because I need
Here,
that again.
though, so long as you have your air and fire, and later on a little bit of water,
Just a little smidge.
you can do it all the time. One of the reasons why I love ranging hunt on Sharp Fangs is because it is so ridiculously consistent. And this is also very consistent.
Yeah, especially since you're reclaiming so often.
Very much like to see that.
I think because this is a sacred site, because this power is so strong, you want to be able to trigger this and blow up lands. But if you're blowing up one spot, maybe you don't need to hit that same spot again. So it's like, well, I need to turn to another land, another place. But if I'm only targeting, I can only target 2 different lands, then this power becomes weaker. So that's where I'm like, this sacred site, where you place your sacred site is so important, because of Thundering Destruction requires a sacred site.
Right on.
So it's like, put them in the middle, people. Put them in the middle of the island. Or put them along the coast.
Sure.
So
Let's go look at these unique power
Yes.
cards. It's kind of interesting. So we have 4, and as far as the energy costs, it climbs up like a staircase. 0, 1, 2, and 3.
let's do it in that order.
Want to do it in that order?
Yeah.
I'll take the 0 and the 2. How about you take the 1 and the 3?
Cool. Perfect.
So let's talk about their 0. So it is slow, but as before, with their special rule, you can regard this as it can be either your choice. It can be fast or slow, which is really cool. So this one you get to choose. Spoiler alert, literally every single one of their cards gives fire and air.
Yeah.
Every single one. And that's it, except for one. More on that later. So Harbingers of Lightning. This is the card that we're speaking of. It is their only free card. 2 elements, fire, air, like we said. It is slow naturally, and thankfully, it can go in any land, and you only need to be from range 1 away.
Very nice.
So it's not very restrictive.
You don't need a sacred site.
You don't need a sacred site. You don't care about land specificity.
Don't
you
care about
don't
blight.
care about blight.
Right.
It's good. As far as legalities, I like it.
Easy.
It says push up to 2 Dahan. Then 1 fear if you pushed any Dahan into a land with buildings. Not bad.
Cool.
It is a honest fear gaining thing, and it's free. So the only downside is that with your starting hand and your array, your suite of innate powers and special rules, you have no way to natively defend them.
Oh.
So you could say, oh, I'm going to push these Dahan into a land with buildings, and then I'm going to bust those buildings. Okay, cool.
Yeah, I've done
Just
that.
make sure that this one goes first, though.
Very good point.
Which is fine.
Yeah.
And hey, it's a fear, so it's not bad.
No.
Like I said before, I think Thundering Destruction is where you're going to be getting the majority of your fear, but especially early game, this is like I said, an honest, hardworking, good old-fashioned fear generator.
Because I've seen you play Harbingers of Lightning, push 2 Dahan in, and then you pop that town. So maybe there's just an Explorer that remains.
Yeah.
The Dahan finish off the Explorer. Ravage easy. But you're right, you gotta work out that timing. Because if you just...
I know he said the joke. It's still funny to me, just the idea of Harbingers of Lightning. All right, me as Lightning, I'm going to tell the Dahan. All right, I'm going to blow up that building. You go and tell them of my arrival. All right, yo, you guys are screwed. You're about to get busted. I come in, boom. Oh, yeah. Dahan's like, told you so.
It worked.
Next time. All right, you go ahead and tell them I'm coming. All right, Dahan go in there. All right, I've seen this before. It's going to be good. All right, you guys, you got it coming. Lightning? Lightning?
Tick,
And
tick,
then, like,
tick, tick.
sorry, I reclaimed.
You have like crickets.
I reclaimed.
Cricket.
Uh-oh. Just like, no.
They'll be here. They'll definitely be here. Anytime.
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Anytime. Frantically looking at their watch.
Event phase, what?
Or sundial, whichever.
Disease event? No! We're dead!
No worries. We got Dahan on their guard. We're good.
Okay, there you go. Good save. Good save.
So there's Harbingers of Lightning.
There's the theme behind Harbingers of Lightning. There's the lore there.
Oh, real quick. I feel as if we'd be remiss not to talk about the art, at least, for some of these. So, with Harbingers of Lightning, it's actually really cool artwork. It's lightning flying towards a Dahan who has a staff raised to the sky, and like lightning, the element lightning is coming off of Lightning Swift Strike and being like imbued into the staff. It's pretty cool. The artwork of lightning was done by Rocky Hammer.
Great artwork, too.
Yeah.
Next one is Lightning's Boon.
Here we go.
Has anyone heard of this card ever? It is speed fast. Whoa.
Yeah.
Cost 1. You get your fire and air. It is range 0 because your target is any spirit. It does not target a land. So it says target spirit may use up to 2 slow powers as if they were fast powers this turn. Lightning's Boon artwork is so poetic and so it is lightning flying over the land over a river, and you literally see river surges in sunlight almost like swimming but also looking up to lightning.
It's almost as if they were an intended combo.
It's almost like it's a good pairing. And that's in the next episode.
Wait, what?
But anyway, yes, we all know Lightning's Boon.
Yeah,
We've talked about it ad nauseum in our gift card series.
We've talked about it a lot. This card is phenomenal. It makes slow powers fast. It's honestly, ironically, it can be good for you too. Yes, it's famous for the fact that it can go to friends. Thankfully, it's target any spirit, and the reason why it's so good for you is because if you do diversify your hand, or your hand is big enough where you don't have as many air and fire cards because you want to hit your Innates, or like you said, there's just not enough air, you can actually cast it on yourself.
Poor Many Minds is weeping in the corner. Swarming bedevilment?
When playing as Wind Lightning, I actually like this because you lose Swiftness of Lightning. We'll get into that a little bit later. But I'm just saying I like that it's any.
Yeah, me too.
Even in a multiplayer game, I like that it's any.
I like that it's 2 as well because everyone talks about sky stretches to shore, but that's 1 power.
Right, 2 powers. It makes 2 powers fast.
Because now we can like daisy chain. Now I can move something in with control and damage with slow damage. Yeah. So I'm like moving things in. You get to combo things easier with 2 powers being made fast, in my opinion. So, again, we talked about this card a lot. You all know this card. Great card.
One small, yet I don't want to be a underrated or underappreciated thing that's really cool that Lightning's Boon does. So, Lightning's Boon, yes, it says slow powers can be played as if they were fast.
Yeah.
Okay, on one hand, you're thinking, okay, I understand what that does. There's another cool thing that it does, though. In this game, one of the cool things that we can do as players to other players and friends of ours, or heck, even to ourselves, is give the gift of repeating powers. One thing that's cool, though, if you notice on Fractured's board, Slip the Flow of Time, one of the things they can do, one of the cheat codes they can apply to their friends' cards is you may resolve a slow power right now. As if it were fast, kind of. It just says you may resolve a power right now.
So is that the same thing?
In function, that is very similar to fast because Slip the Flow of Time is a fast innate. So if I resolve a slow power right now, that means it's at the same speed of fast. Okay, cool.
Sure.
If you would repeat that power that was resolved right now, the power is actually itself slow.
Still slow.
So when you repeat the card, not Slip the Flow of Time. Lightning's Boon says you may play it as if it were fast. It was changed to fast.
Yep.
Meaning that if you were to repeat a card sped up by Lightning's Boon, it stays fast for the repeated card.
That's huge. That is a good difference.
That is a big one.
Yeah.
So I want to make sure that the value of this card is properly understood in
great point.
All of its ways, or at least more than just what it says at face value. All right, let's look at their number 2. Okay, it's the third card, but it's their 2 energy.
2 energy, yeah.
Their 2 energy card. It is called Shatter Homesteads.
Ooh, this one has cool artwork,
Now,
too.
This one is slow, but once again, LOL. Gives you 2 elements. Once again, LOL. It's fire and air.
The ones you need.
So the card, yes, it's slow. Now, this one is your only other power that actually requires you to come from a sacred site. But that is not bad, because you're already going to be making sacred sites, and unlike Thundering Destruction, which was your other power that required a sacred site, this one is range 2 of a sacred site.
That's huge.
It's very nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. Thundering Destruction does more damage, so it's heavier, but Thundering Destruction was range 1. This is range 2. Really nice. Target land, any. Hey, we love to see it.
Love it.
Always good. Always good. Card, what it does, very simple, but we love it. 1 fear, destroy a town. Great. Honestly, no joke, Shatter Homesteads is one of the staple workhorses of Lightning.
How many times have we said this? Fear for the card, fear for the town.
Love it. Fear for the card, fear for the town. That's 2, right?
Fear for the town.
Nice.
Yep. Yeah, it's 2 fear.
So it's 2 fear that you're getting. It's great. The artwork is really cool. It is quite simply lightning swift strike flying over a bad guy, town, and you see lightning arcing from their toes, from their feet, and it is stretching down into the buildings, lighting them up. It is so cool. What I really like about lightning is that they are orange. They're illustrated, they themselves. Yes. Lightning that comprises them is orange. Lightning that they dispatch to attack is blue, which really has this cool dynamic color palette. Yeah. And it's really cool. I think it helps to see where lightning swift strike ends.
Yeah, and then
where their attack beam starts. I get such Sith vibes from this.
Yeah. It kind of reminds me too. Father, please! It reminds me too of Avatar: The Last Airbender when they're fighting at the end of brother sister.
Oh my gosh!
Zuko's shooting the fire.
No joke. The Agni Kai between Zuko and Azula is one of the coolest, most well animated and illustrated things I've ever seen. It is so good,
and it kind of reminds me of that the blue and the orange fighting each other. Yeah,
so cool. Dope. This card is phenomenal. Whether you use it for, there is a explorer and a town in the fast phase. Quick, let me bust the town so that when they build, it's not a city, it's just a town.
Huge.
Which is great. Yep. Or, there's an explorer there. I'm not even going to worry about it. I'm going to cast this card, wait for that town to show up, and boom, hit him in the slow phase, get that fear, and if there was a convenient Dahan pushed in there when they ravage, it's just an explorer all by themselves. Yep. Cool.
There's that choice you're talking about.
Yep.
Waiting it out. Maybe you let things build up.
Harbingers of Lightning, a Dahan into a clear land that you think might get explored. It gets explored. There's a Dahan there. Then there's an explorer. Cool. Next turn, you play this. Keep it slow. They build a town. You bust a town. Ravage happens. 1v1. Dahan v. Explore. Dahan wins.
There's nothing
land
left.
Clear.
Yeah.
Really fun when that happens.
The next card.
I purposely wanted you to have this one.
Wait, I'm so sorry. I actually only see 3 here. This one just says, forget me now.
You've already forgotten it.
You've activated my trap card. I never played this card. Fine, I'll read it.
To those who aren't aware, or if you haven't listened to all of our episodes, John has a famous hatred of this card.
I can count on my hand how many times I've actually played this card because it's so few. Because I never do.
So naturally, I wanted him to read this one.
It costs 3 energy. What?
Yes, their most expensive card.
It's called Manifestation I Wish. It's called Raging Storm.
Raging Storm.
It has a fire, an air, and a water element.
Now that's cool. This is the only one that has water.
So sometimes if you want to trigger your higher levels and you're not finding good drafts, you need this card.
I literally heard you say the words. The water element is the most valuable thing on this card.
On this poo-poo card. What it does, it's a slow, LOL. Range 1, and
that's good.
Target land any. Yeah, so no more sacred sites. Yep. Any land, range 1. Yeah. 1 damage to each invader.
Now, here's the thing that's interesting.
Ryan.
The card is actually amazing. That effect
I love that effect.
Actually really good.
That effect.
But in this game of Spirit Island, certain effects based on who has it are entirely different circumstances. Dissolving Vapors and Raging Storm are very similar. Yet the emotion for one versus the other is entirely different because of who has it.
Yeah.
Raging Storm costs 3. Oh, that is very expensive.
Stings, Ryan.
Think about
Could we remember the top track? It's so bad.
Yes. That top track, just like you said, is very weak.
Yeah.
You do have a very good energy spike action.
You do.
But you do realize that this one card will entirely suck up the energy that you just
spike,
that you
it
just
goes
had.
bye-bye.
So think about this, dear listener, when talking about value and optimum value. Lightning's Boon is 1 energy. Harbingers of Lightning is 0 energy. And Shatter Homesteads is 2 energy. Those 3 cards cost 3. Raging Storm costs 3.
Oh.
So Raging Storm by itself literally costs the same amount as the other 3 cards.
Do you know what those 3 cards are doing?
if you play all 3 of those cards, Dahan are getting pushed. You're getting fear for that, hopefully. A teammate of yours is getting slow powers fast,
which I can't quantify.
Dangerous ramifications.
You never know how strong that is.
You're getting 2 fear, one from the effect of Shatter Homesteads, which lets you destroy a town, which is where that second one comes in. And most importantly, you have 3 fire and 3 air, which means you are triggering level 1 Thundering Destruction with these 3 cards, so you're destroying another town. Oh wait, that's another fear.
Wow, so that's 4 fear.
All of this was 3 energy.
Wow, 4 fear, 3 energy,
and
2 fast powers.
remember, you get a 3rd card play the very first time you pull from bottom track. So what we just said was a very simple 3 energy play from Grow 3. Grow 3, you get to place 1 presence, right?
Yeah.
Pull from bottom, get that 3rd card play literally your entire hand except for Raging Storm, which also costs 3. You get to do all those things.
Look at that. That's beautiful.
Or you could just play Raging Storm by itself.
Oh, what a gut punch. What a gut punch. Hey, I knocked out 1 Explorer. I did it, fam. Woohoo.
And the thing is like, you can see because of Shatter Homesteads and Thundering Destruction how ace you are against buildings. You're not so good against explorers. You do have an answer, but it's a very poor efficiency answer.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're going to have to do it based on, well, not so great, but I really can't afford for these explorers to do damage to me or something where you want them dead.
We've said in the past, you want a group of explorers for this to be worth it.
Right.
You need like 2
on
or 3.
On base difficulty, this is really hard to look valuable.
Ooh.
Against France, this is great.
There you go.
Against Russia,
there you
phenomenal. Go. We talked about how in our 6-player game with Russia, Raging Storm was actually phenomenal because we would have 3 or more explorers in a land, which means that is now ravaging there because Russia stipulates with level 3 competition amongst hunters. If there are 3 or more explorers, they will ravage. Well, Raging Storm has an air element, which means I can now play it fast. If I zap this spot and destroy all the explorers, yes, I know 1 will run away. But if I kill them all and push that last one, they're not attacking anymore.
They run away. You get a fear. They're not ravaging. It's amazing.
There's no blight.
There's no blight.
It's saved.
Yeah.
It's great. In that context, it's great. It's the lower difficulties, normal, standard difficulties where you have 1 explorer that really looks bad.
If I were to rank these cards, it would be Lightning's Boon, like 1A, Shatter Homesteads 1B. It depends on like what Lightning's Boon doing.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Then Harbingers and then Raging Storm.
Raging Storm.
Literally forget that card.
I know that Raging Storm is like the first one that you forget.
Every time.
But here's something that's quite interesting.
It's my built-in water card for Years of Little Rain.
Nice. Because you conveniently get it turn 2 every time?
I stacked the deck?
She shuffled! So here's one thing that I want to say both with Harbingers of Lightning and Raging Storm. Based on the dialogue and the word choices we used over this past half hour, it may seem that we dislike and value these cards the least, but here's something that's really cool that's very important to know with Spirit Island. Sometimes a spirit will have a card, whether with their elements or with their effect, that actually for their starting play style doesn't necessarily fit. But with cards that you could find look amazing. Harbingers of Lightning. If you find defend cards, this card is amazing.
Good point, Ryan.
Raging Storm. You find
Badlands?
Bad guy control cards.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Or Badlands.
Let me gather explorers. If you find entrancing apparitions, we'll get to this later. Let me gather 2 explorers in. If I gathered into a land, bam, 2. Now I'm killing 2 explorers instantly. Something like that.
Yep.
My point being, it's not that these are actually bad cards, because that is not correct. The correct statement is at game start, some cards may look better for this spirit's starting gameplay style.
Okay.
But if you have a card that you don't think jives well with this character's theme where mechanically you think they should go, it's just an opportunity for you to have a build elsewhere.
I like that. That's a good qualifier.
So you start very attacky. Yes, awesome, great, cool. You can always get rid of your cards. You can never get rid of your innate. So you will always be, hopefully if you're triggering it, blowing up stuff with your innate.
Yep.
Cool. But with Harbingers of Lightning, that is the first step on a path towards Dahan control and using Dahan. Raging Storm is the first step on a path towards bad guy control playstyles. So it's not that the cards are bad, because in higher difficulties, they can look really good.
Yeah.
Fear is always great. It's just recognize that, hey, I don't like this card because it doesn't do what I want, or it's so bad the value isn't great.
Yeah, it's too expensive.
That value changes based on other cards that you find and the builds that you go with this.
And even your teammates, like, even if Lightning is playing with Miss, if I'm doing 1 damage and it stays...
Yes.
And that's important.
It's huge. And like you said, what if there's Badlands?
What if there's Badlands?
Now I'm doing 1 damage to each invader, but 2 damage to 1 invader in that land.
And then you can take out explorers and now a town with it.
Right.
I didn't get to talk about the art. It's actually my favorite.
Oh, yeah.
It's actually my favorite artwork of
it is.
the 4.
It is so cool.
Dude, it's like a cyclone of, or what is it, a wind tunnel? A tornado?
Right, a hurricane, a monsoon.
Hurricane? Yeah.
Basically, the camera, if you want to call it that, it's at night. And it's on land looking towards the ocean, and over the ocean, you see a hurricane monsoon over the ocean, and it is blowing water,
palm trees.
Yeah, right, the palm trees, they're just being flown around by the wind. And in the middle of this hurricane, you see the orange glow of lightning, and you can see their figure in the hurricane.
The Thunderbird.
And it is, the Thunderbird, there you go. And it is so great.
It's my favorite one.
Of the artwork,
4,
I think Shatter Homestead...
Well,
Harbingers of Lightning is cool, though,
that one is cool, too.
Because Lightning is literally charging that staff.
Yeah, that is cool.
It does look cool.
And I like Lightning Spoon because I like River. Oh, they're all good.
They are good, but this one's really good.
This one's
epic. Thanks for bringing it up. I forgot to talk about the artwork on that one. That's good.
All right, so that's their uniques.
What a great transition into builds and flexibilities.
Hey, yeah, talking about that.
When it comes to preferred play styles, for me anyway, and that's just who I'm going to talk of.
Yeah.
I do, obviously, staying with attack is kind of hard to stray from because of how well situated you are with offense.
Yeah.
I do really like finding defend cards. The minor power deck is full of miners that have defend cards, and they're usually cheap. We'll get into this. But Lightning really likes having cheap miners. And because your card play is so great, you can actually play a lot of these cards. And since your top track ain't so great as far as how much energy you gain, especially if you lean into Growth 2, which gets you more presence, you're not going to have that energy spike for early game energy income.
No, you're not.
But you do have the capacity to very quickly get great card play. So I really like finding defend cards because it means, obviously, since I don't start with any defense, it makes it a lot easier to stop Blight coming in, but I love pairing it with Harbingers of Lightning because it says push 2 Dahan.
Now it has purpose. Yeah.
Pushing 2 Dahan is 4 damage. That means I can get rid of a town and an explorer. Or a city.
Yeah.
Which is phenomenal. 2 Dahan can do a lot. A lot, man.
If you're taking out cities with Thundering Destruction and then Dahan are taking out cities, I mean, there's going to be nothing left on your board.
One thing I just realized that is really good about Lightning that I can say now.
Okay.
Looking back from like the modern 2022 era, looking back, in 2017, I would not have seen this as a plus. But now I actually do see this as a very big plus.
Tell me.
Lightning has 0 friendly fire.
Oh.
Look at it.
Yeah.
They don't do any friendly fire. There are a lot of characters that have really powerful stuff.
A lot of offensive characters.
Yeah, but part of the offense is hurting
Dahan.
Friends.
Yeah.
Or Dahan, for instance. Lightning doesn't have any of that, which is great. So for me, I am naturally inclined to, with miners, pull defense because in my early game, my spirit's at their weakest, which means I am the most liable to blight. So I really do, and like I said, I have a very defense-first mindset, in things. For the longest time, I've had a defense-first mindset, and I'm still very sympathetic towards defense-minded stuff. And I also love taking advantage of Dahan counterattacks. But to do that, you need to have defense. So Harbingers of Lightning is one that I like to keep if I can find those defend cards.
I think unless you're being supported by a volcano or a river, miners are the way to go, for sure. I think
for a while,
for a long while, unless, like you said, you're upgrading or maybe you do that, take that energy spike.
Well, and another thing is spamming miners is great for your card play because your energy income is not so great.
Right.
So you will have the ability to play them both in card play and in energy cost for those miners, and at the same time. By the time you do have enough energy income for Major, you have a plethora of miners. And you actually want to make sure you still get fire and air. They talk about this on the back of your board, too. They say that you're kind of limited.
Because Thundering Destruction is so strong.
Right,
you
it's
need
so
those
strong.
elements,
You
Ryan.
don't want to give that up, but it's air and fire. But remember, level 1 needed 5 elements. Level 2, 7. Level 3, 10.
Yeah.
Level 4, 12. So you really don't want to stray away from those elements if you want to keep hitting Thundering Destruction.
And why I don't like majors as much is because I don't want to lose cards with lightning. I want to keep adding to my hand. I don't want to, discard a card or forget a power. I need to keep adding to my hand, so maybe I don't eventually have to reclaim as often. I want like 5, 6, 7 minor powers in my hands, whatever. And my major power is Thundering Destruction.
Yeah.
So I don't like going for majors unless circumstances are being gifted it or I have energy for it. But usually I like to go minors as well. For sure.
Let's go and talk about pros and cons.
Okay.
Pros and cons and pros. I believe that is the Tonight Show that has that.
Oh, okay.
That's like a little reoccurring segment. I can't put that in here. That'll be copyright, but
leave it in there. Cut that.
Ironically, we just spoke on one of the pros is no friendly fire.
Yeah.
That's actually quite good.
I think my big pro for like a minors build is you kind of get to play majors and minors because I talked about Thundering Destruction is my major power.
Right.
3 cities, if you get to that in one land, I mean, some majors can't even touch that amount of power. So that is my big pro is like, I feel like I get to do both. I get the best of both worlds. Sling minors and then also trigger.
And since you have so many minors,
you'll
have a lot of elements.
A lot of elements to trigger those higher tiers of that innate.
Yeah.
So that's
a threshold on a major, which is quite good.
I feel like a big con for me.
Okay.
I feel so poor as lightning.
Oh, yeah.
With this minors build. And
I get
especially if I'm focusing on the bottom track.
Sure.
I feel like
you got to fund all these various cards.
I always have 0 by the end of every time I'm paying for my powers.
Oh, sure.
And so that's
But I would rather spend my energy knowing that it was used efficiently.
Okay. Yeah.
And the point of energy is to spend it, right? So
true. Yeah.
But yeah, I can see that. I
feel like almost a kind of like I don't have another option. I can only do this build. I can only go minors because I don't know, majors builds feels bad or top track doesn't.
Right, as base lightning anyway. Base lightning, sure, yeah. Right, immense lightning is entirely different story.
Oh yeah. But base lightning, I'm just like, I can't go top track because there's so many doubles.
Right, you'd really have to do that third growth option a lot, but you're only ever pulling one presence when you do that. So look, 1 to 1, 1 to 2, a little bit better. Okay. 2 to 2.
Again? Yeah, it stings. It doesn't feel good.
Yet, at the same time, you can get rid of Harbingers of Lightning or Raging Storm pretty quick.
That's true.
If you were to do a early game major pull, you could do grow 3, gain 1 presence, yes, from top track, or... yeah, probably top track.
Probably.
Just to start working on it. And then either do it again or probably honestly go right into growth 1 for your second action because then you have 4 energy, depending on what you played if you didn't play power cards on your first turn, which is actually a play style.
Yeah.
Which is pretty common. And then when you go and reclaim, you get a power card and another energy. So you'll get a single.
It's doable.
It's doable. It can work. And maybe you find a major like Jungle Hungers.
Yeah.
And it's 3 or something like that. It's
something
doable.
Cheap, right.
It's not a door that's closed to you.
It just clunky.
When you, but I mean, think about it. When you have this proficiency with card play, doesn't it kind of feel weird to just ignore it?
Yeah.
I'm not saying you have to. I'm just saying like
go bottom track.
So obviously, big pro, building destruction, phenomenal.
Oh,
absolutely,
one of the
phenomenal.
best in the game.
Decent fear gain.
Yeah,
seriously, one of the best support cards in the game.
Great support for utility.
I do consider their growth options kind of clunky. That's a con for me.
Yeah, that growth 3.
Yeah.
Top tracks, clunky.
Yep. Obviously, they're not great with explorers, with Raging Storm. And let's go ahead and talk about this famous reclaim loop. So, Thundering Destruction is amazing. In order to hit it, you need elements. You need fire and air. Hey, look, I start with a ton of fire and air. Oh, hey, and Raging Storm even has a water. So you have these cool cards, and the cards themselves actually do some pretty good things.
Yeah.
We said Lightning's Boon is a great thing to have going out all the time. Shatter Homesteads is, trust me, you will literally always find a use for Shatter Homesteads.
Yeah, there's always a town to pop.
The ease of legality, and you already have Sacred Sites. It's range 2, you get a fear, and there is always a town. That card is like, it's like one of the best. I have a card play, I have some energy, what should I do? Oh, hey, cool, 2 energy.
You'll probably use that every turn. Yep.
Yeah, easy. you want Thundering Destruction to happen as often as you can, especially in the higher difficulties.
Yeah.
So, the cool thing about Lightning is that when they have all of their cards and they play all their cards, it feels great. It feels like you're going on the attack, boom, 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 boom.
It feels like you're doing all these
taking
things.
names, kicking butt.
Playing 5 cards, doing all these different things, blowing things up.
Right. And then, the thing that's interesting, this is, I think, a con with their card play is... Once you have such high card play, on one hand, it legitimately is really cool that you can play all these cards. No joke. But the thing is your hand might be 6 or 7 cards. So if you play 5 cards...
You only have 2 left.
Your next turn is very piddly if you don't reclaim.
But I need to reclaim because there's more cities building.
Right. But if I reclaim again, I'm not growing. Because when I reclaim, Growth 1 says reclaim cards, gain a power card, cool, gain energy, cool, but no presence is being put out.
Oh, so
I'm not improving.
So I'm stuck.
I'm stuck. But then if I go and get my presence out there, cool. But I'm not getting any more power cards. Nor am I getting a card that was really useful that I kind of need to happen again.
And I'm probably not triggering that really powerful innate either. So not much good's happening.
The thing is a high card play character such as this will have this problem of, oh, my hand is gone. I need to reload. Mm-hmm. They are a bolt action spirit. By that, I mean they don't automatically load the next thing that they need. They have to stop what they're doing and
every time.
Turn away, let yourself even get hit sometimes because you're reclaiming. Sometimes it can be really like, oh man, I have to like stop all forward progress on self-improvement. And you want to get improvement because you see how cool it is. And look at those stats on that bottom track. It's so juicy. But if I actually use all 4 card plays and I have 6 cards,
I have to reclaim.
This is why when a friend lets you reclaim a card, it's so nice. Or when a friend gives you energy, it's so nice. Or lets you repeat a power card, Earth's on your team, and you can repeat one for free or something like that. It's so great. Or, hey, Green's there letting you proliferate. Or Serpent.
Lightning loves support.
Lightning loves support.
Yeah.
What I like to think about it is... Lightning is like one of those AT guns from World War I or World War II.
Okay.
It's not a tank that drives itself and has like stabilizers and self-loading mechanisms. It's just an anti-tank gun, which needs a crew to drive it around and fire it, but it's still a 105 howitzer, and it's still pulverizing buildings with one hit when it's attacking. It just simply needs a crew of people moving it around and loading it. That's all.
Lightning can be the most damaging spirit in the game. It might need help to get there.
Lightning, in my opinion, Lightning is a howitzer with one dude manning it. It's great when your teammates can help you be additional crew members to fire it faster and move it around and whatnot. So
that is a con.
The reclaim loop is you want power cards, you want energy, you want your cards back. Look at what Growth 1 does. It gets you power cards. It gets you energy.
Gets everything.
It gets you your cards back.
I'm going to be doing that at every turn, Ryan. I'll just stick in my 4-card place.
So there comes a point where sometimes you can suffer with this half and half. Here, let me stall, not get anything as far as energy and new cards, but I'll go and grow with my presence. And then half and half, okay, I'll reclaim every other turn. And then in your late game, the bad guys are escalating to a point where, okay, now I just need to be in my loop and kapow, 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 kapow. And hey, at least you're getting your cards back, and now you're getting a card every single turn. When you're in this loop, like you said, Lightning's Boon is happening like all the time. You get the idea.
Yeah.
You are finding cool cards. You get to play your cool cards every turn.
And over again.
Ironically, that is a side pro of the reclaim loop. Because you may not be improving, but if you found a really good card and you're spamming that sucker, sweet.
If you find a Badlands card and spamming it every single turn.
I found Desiccating Winds, John.
Whoa. Let's put Badlands every single turn and
do damage with it.
Yeah, do damage with it. Now Raging Storm has a purpose.
It's great.
Yeah.
So this is the reclaim loop.
It's
Lightning,
kind of a pro and a con.
Right. Yeah. It has its pros. It has its cons. To me, I do feel clunky when I'm doing it because I feel as if spamming is usually weird. But like I said before, I'm still doing crazy high damage with it. So I don't mind in that regard.
Watching you play lightning, you've picked some good spots when to have a downturn, instead grow, and place presence instead of reclaim.
So friendship really helps.
Yeah, and teamwork helps. I think because lightning is so fast, like, all right, so you didn't have a slow phase, but your fast phase, you can play your slow powers in the fast phase. So it's like, yeah, maybe you're a turn behind, but because lightning's so fast, you catch up really quickly type of thing.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. But yeah, you got to either pick your spots or you're just stuck in a reclaim loop.
Yeah. But there comes a point where, like, hey, if you're at 4 card play, 3 energy gain, a reclaim loop, it's not necessarily the worst.
No.
You may desire more than that, which is fair, but 3 energy a turn, and if you are reclaiming, you are getting a 4th energy because growth 1 gives you an energy. Mm-hmm. It's just 1, but hey, I mean, if you're at 3 energy in this hypothetical situation with 4 card play, hey, play 4 cards.
You can do a lot with 4 cards.
It's likely you'll get Thundering Destruction level 1, possible to get level 2 with that, and you have enough card play and enough energy gain to, like, do some damage
and
out
maybe
there.
you can get a cheap major like you were saying. Mm-hmm. Make it work.
It's cool. So one thing we want to do is kind of look at the various tools that the player will have in Spirit Island. How good is this spirit at using some of those tools?
I am really excited for this next section because this makes you think in a different way.
I think so. So, is Lightning a Dahan user or a Beast user? Yes or no? Beast? Nope. Of course, you can go and find beast cards and maybe do something with them.
That's
You're not
true.
a beast user. Nope.
You don't start with any beast powers, obviously. But like you said with Desiccating Winds, if you find a good power card and repeat it, that's huge. So if you find...
Tiger's Hunting?
Yeah.
It's cheap.
And just get beasts out there. Oh, you're a better beast user than Fangs or something. But you have to find it.
Yeah. Dahan user, I'm going to say no asterisk.
Okay. Mine was my question mark?
Sure. It's not great. It's not as sweet that is Dahan proficient, but you have the foot in the door.
If you find that defend power, Ryan.
Bam.
Wow.
You are a very rudimentary and meager Dahan user if you find a single defend card, but you do have Harbingers of Lightning.
Because that fixes a huge flaw. If you find a defend power, now your offense and defense and Dahan taking out, like that is a huge sword and shield build. Mm-hmm. So that is huge if you find defend power.
It may seem a little meat and potatoes, but it's really great for those moments of, oh no, there's an explorer and a town on a spot they're about to build a city.
Yeah.
Shatter Homesteads, pop the town, Harbingers of Lightning, get Dahan in there, they're about to ravage, use this defend card, clear land.
Yeah.
Which is really nice.
So, yeah. Usually I like to hope that I find a 0-costing fire card, because cheap, but defend powers.
Yeah.
And beasts is fun. Like, if I find a swarming wasp or something, if I'm spitting beasts out there, that's cool. Yep. Maybe events or beast command, who knows? Maybe something will do something with them, but I'm not planning around it for beasts. But the Dahan, like you said, foot in the door, for sure.
Yeah.
Dahan, definitely.
Are we a Sacred Site user?
Huh.
Why, yes.
You don't say.
Yes, we are. A slew of cards in this game are very strong, and they require you to have a Sacred Site. We can use those cards as Lightning with ease, because our gameplay is entirely centric on Sacred Sites already.
You always want Sacred Sites.
So you have a very good flexibility to use those cards immediately once you find them, because you will already have Sacred Sites in there.
Like, Quicken the Earth struggles, range 0 and a Sacred Site, like, so many things. Oh, wait, I'm innately a Sacred Site user. Now this card and as a fire, this is perfect for me. Mm-hmm.
We have this description. Are we a range 0 user? Now, obviously, if you have anything beyond range 0, you can literally be a range 0 user. What we're talking about is how proficient are you with range 0 tactics, i.e. you being right on top of the bad guys. I don't think Lightning, not really. Not really. All of their powers have range.
Yes.
All of them do.
Yes.
I think Lightning benefits from having Sacred Sites in some lands and attacking from them.
Yes. They want their enemies close, but not too close.
I don't think, yes, very much like that. I think they want them close, but not that close.
Within 1 or 2, for Thundering Destruction or Shattered Homesteads. But yeah, on top of you, you're like, as we're talking, you don't start with defend powers. And if you don't find defend powers, then you might be losing Sacred Sites. Oh no, that's your source of power.
Also, range 0 users, meaning if I find cards in the deck that say range 0, I would probably stay away from them.
Yeah, they're not the
Doesn't
best.
mean you have to, because what's the thing in this game? Bad guys coming to you.
They'll probably come to you.
Domesticated animals still is really nice.
Yeah. If you find a good power and it matches elements or its defense.
I just generally think when I look at this character and their suite, I'm getting the vibe you don't want to be on top of bad guys.
I agree.
You don't have any defense at all.
Kind of keep them at an arm's distance type of thing.
You don't have anything to control bad guys.
Nope. You can't push them out.
Nope. I don't think we're a range 0 user. Here's a question. Are we a Blight Buddy?
So I was thinking about this.
Should we define Blight Buddy?
Yes, go ahead and define it.
Blight Buddy is simply a term that we are using to describe somebody who not necessarily will place blight or spawn it, but someone who can coexist with somebody who is a blight user.
Though I originally didn't think so, I think they are.
I think they are.
I think they're blight friendly.
I'm willing to go on a limb and say lightning is a yes.
Blight
Thumbs
buddy?
Up, Blight Buddy.
And I never would have thought of that.
A lot of ennies. A lot of ennies.
Yeah. They don't have any restrictions other than sacred sites.
Right. And at first, that seems really simple. It was because of later spirits that came out in expansion that I now look at ennies as really nice. Because there are powers like Ranging Hunt or characters like Serpent or Keeper who are very strong, brawny, buffed characters. And they have a lot of really cool things that they can do. But as a limitation to those characters, they have some weaknesses. And in these specific characters' instances, those specifics are blight.
And blight's going to happen.
Right, blight's going to happen.
And no matter what level you're playing, you are most likely going to blight.
But because it does not matter if the origin land that the power came from was blighted or blight-free, or the target land was blighted or blight-free. You can have a clean board and function just the same as well as you could on a dirty board.
I was starting to look through the decks. There are some good fire cards. A lot of fire cards utilize blight or work with blight. There's like Lands of Haunts and Embers, Drought, Purifying Flame, Weep for What Is Lost, The Wounded Wild, Spill Bitterness, Pyroclastic Flow, Land Thrashes, Pillar of Living Flame.
Yeah.
All of these like either utilize or add blight or blight equals damage. So you have no restrictions like we're saying. But even in the decks, you're looking for these fire powers because they trigger your innates, and they're blight-friendly powers. So you can become a blight spirit for sure.
So then we have this question, are they solo viable? Basically, we are examining how good we think this character performs in multiplayer, at any number, or solo play. Where's your opinion?
Okay, so we talked about their powers, right? Their unique powers of, Lightning Spoon, Shatter Homesteads, Harbingers, and then you have Raging Storm. Of those four, one of them is pretty useful in solo. Lightning Spoon, you're kind of already fast.
Yeah.
Raging Storm, you don't got the monies. At least early on.
So, in my
Harbingers,
opinion...
you don't have defense. I'm not thrilled with Lightning Solo.
It's a thumbs down for me.
I don't like it.
Not like...
It can work.
It can work.
It can work.
And I've seen battle reports where players have won a Terror level 1 victory with solo Lightning.
Yeah, it can work.
I think that's going to be difficult. I think... Okay, technically, I guess you can say, as Eric said, there are always extenuating circumstances. Technically, everyone is solo viable.
Yes.
Literally. Heck, even Ocean, even Bringer. Cool. We're talking about how easy, how comfortable of a win you can get with this spirit in solo. I'm thinking they're not so great.
I don't like it. They're not my favorites.
I'm personally not a fan.
They're not my favorites. And Lightning's Boon just feels like it loses so much of its power.
Right. It can go to any spirit anyway.
Yeah.
It's not like it's a target another spirit where now it can work to me in solo. No, it was any.
Always any.
And the thing it does, I did already.
I can currently
do. It still retains the value.
It's got good elements.
Sure. Of... getting those elements, which is always nice with Thundering Destruction, but also, hey, if I go for other cards, I can make them fast if they don't have
Which
air.
is good, yeah.
Which is good. But like you said, it's just lesser because, especially in the early game, I can do that already.
I can already make powers fast.
Yeah, and with how hard it is to get power cards, it's just like, man, having a dud card.
Oh, a bad draw?
Yeah.
That stings.
Oh.
That stings.
Yikes.
Yeah.
You know?
No fire cards. Yeah.
I like what you said about Harbingers of Lightning. Control, yay. Defense, ooh.
None.
And in solo play, defense and fear have a much different role. Fear is crazy in solo. Fear spirits in solo play, I love.
Yeah, they rip through the deck.
You rip through the deck so much and so fast, it's almost kind of unfair.
Yeah.
Sometimes. And defense is really important because you look and you're like, hey, I have 3 blight total.
Yeah.
And for a while, lightning solo meant 2 blight. For a very long time.
For years it meant
for
2 blight.
years,
Yeah.
it meant that. And you're like, well, crap.
And even if you flip the blight cards, like, oh, now I have only 4 blight left. And blight lands that could cascade. Oh, no.
Oh, no.
So, yeah, I agree. They're not my favorites.
And then it's like, oh, crap, I got memory fades. Because with my luck, you always get memory fades. Either get rid of a power... or destroy a presence.
No, my sacred
but
sight.
I need my sacred sight. It's just, you feel very spread thin. And yeah, but like I said.
Even when you bring in 1 extra spirit, the combos.
Oh, goodness.
Making things fast. And then
it's
helping
just,
you
once
out.
again, you have a bolt action rifle all by yourself fighting an enemy that has automatic weapons. You're like, crap.
Oh, no.
So, yes, it's doable. But I'm not really impressed with their capabilities when I'm piloting them in solo play.
Even I was looking back to our All-Star series, they were voted as a top 5 support spirit in the game. So they are great on a team.
Lightning's Boon.
It's 1 card.
It's so good.
But it's so good because it happens so often.
Yeah.
So people love having lightning on the team.
Sure.
So great multi-spirit. Not my favorite. Yeah, in solo play.
Mm. So let's go ahead and talk about opening plays a bit. I kind of talked about one already, but I'll say it for the record once again. It's using Growth 3, and as a reminder, Growth 3 lets you place a presence from 1 away from where you already are, and you get 3 energy. So, if you pull from bottom track, once again, you start with 1 energy gain from your energy track and 2 card plays at game start. So, if you take this 1 presence placement from Growth 3, if you take from bottom, this means that you can now play 3 cards and you have 4 energy. So, what this means is you play your entire starting hand with the exception of Raging Storm, and so you play Harbingers of Lightning, you play Lightning's Boon, and Shatter Homesteads, which all cost 3, and you have 4 energy, so you still have some energy left over. Sure, you have 1 left, but you're not bankrupt, so hey, that's nice. And you get to do all those 3 cards plus level 1 of Thundering Destruction.
On turn 1.
On turn 1. So what this means is if you're doing a standard setup, you're only going to have 1 town on your board anyway. Which means, hey, I've just played 2 powers, Shatter Homesteads gets rid of a town, and Thundering Destruction gets rid of a town. Cool. That means in the fast phase, bust 1 of them. In the slow phase, bust 1 of the other ones.
There you go.
You're getting fear, which, hey, it's always good to get early game fear. And one of your friends is going slow to fast, which is always pretty good. I think the thing that's really cool here, yes, it doesn't solve every one of your problems because you're still going to want to get energy gain pretty quick with this spirit, and this option gives you temporary energy gain. You're probably going to go into a reclaim for your second turn, which is not uncommon, but what I like about this option is the fact that it gets rid of towns.
Yeah.
And I like holding the bad guys back a bit by taking out some towns early.
Yeah.
And sometimes that can snowball into an effect where it gives me just enough time to get on my feet with stuff. Because if I then go on turn 2 to gain a power card, because my growth option 1 where I reclaim power cards, I get an energy back on a new card.
Yeah.
Now that it's turn 2, bad guys are attacking turn 2. They don't attack turn 1, but they do attack turn 2. So maybe, hopefully, I can find a defend card then. But you see, defend cards were worthless on turn 1, but now I can potentially find one.
Sure. I like that one. For me, it's hard because I think that's why I'm starting to like Fangs or even Keeper or Trickster for sure. There's so many different avenues or lanes you can turn down and like, oh, now I can do this and it's a pick 2. But for Lightning, I just get into this 1-track mindset of like, I get to 2 energy and 4 plays and just rinse and repeat.
Okay.
And I know that's not fun or boring. And like,
well, with your second growth option, you can pull from top track to immediately get to 2 energy.
And that's what I usually do.
Which is nice. You're at 2 energy, 2 card play.
2 card play.
You can still pop a town with Shatter Homesteads, and for free...
move around with Harbingers or something.
Right.
Right.
And you can Lightning's Boon someone if that's critical.
And that has been critical in the past. I remember even in our England game, we stopped an inland build because I used Lightning Boon.
Yes.
So sometimes Lightning's Boon
true. I remember that.
Is useful. Yeah. If you can stop an inland build and stop buildings from growing in your inland, then that is pretty important. A lot of the time, I don't know, I do the no plays on turn 1.
Talk to me about that.
Kind of like what you were talking about.
Because there are a few characters in this roster who actually have a decent reason to do a no card play turn 1.
And it doesn't feel great.
Meaning that you don't play any cards. You still grow.
You still grow. Right. You still grow.
Make no mistake.
Yeah, I need to grow.
But you see, if you do growth 2 and you, like we said in this hypothetical, you pull from top track, good, your energy income is a lot better. Literally double.
Yes.
Great. Awesome. Sure, it's 1 to 2, but trust me, big deal.
Helps. Yep.
But at 2 card play, you're not getting Thundering Destruction. You're innate.
So I think that is why it feels bad. So then I don't even play a card.
Sure. Because you want to make it so that when you do need to, now that the bad guys are attacking you on turn 2,
I can trigger Thundering Destruction. Right. So, yeah, exactly like you said, I do grow 2. I pull 2 from the top track, make a sacred site somewhere. If I'm one of those good starting boards, I'm now covering every
like
land.
CRF.
Yeah, CRF. I am now touching every board with my sacred sites.
And you banked 2 energy.
And I banked 2 energy. And like you said, I'm not playing anything, so I'm saving that.
Put it to good use.
Yeah, I'll play it eventually.
It's kind of interesting. The bad guys aren't attacking on turn 1 because they're like loading their weapons, getting ready, and you're doing the same thing.
I'm doing the same exact thing, Ryan. I'm loading that up. It's like the howitzer that you were talking about. Where you have to load it up, and because lightning's so fast, I can play my slow powers and the next turn's fast.
Sure.
So usually on turn 2, I grow, again, growth 2, pull 2 presents from the bottom track, so now I have 2 energy, 4 plays. I can only play 3 cards because I don't have the energy for stupid Raging Storm. If I'm playing France...
But the thing is, in a multiplayer game, it's quite possible somebody helped you somehow.
This is why I like multiplayer. I like those gifts or those
Someone
boons.
gave you an energy.
Then I can play my whole hand.
Right. Someone, I don't know, gave you a power card, something like that. And memories on your team.
Yes, and I get extra elements. Yeah, things can happen.
Bringers giving you an element or something.
Things can happen in a multi-spirit game, but yeah, it's almost like that is this. My opening plays is I get to 2 energy, don't play anything. Second turn, play 3 cards, get to 4 plays, and then I'm basically reclaim looping until I have enough cards to sustain. Maybe playing 3 cards a turn or something. All right, I take an off turn. But I think I need that 2 energy.
Yeah.
A turn. And like we said, we can do a lot with 4 plays. We can potentially pop a city.
I think you can survive on 3 and or 4 card play.
If you find a defend card with 3 plays, then your Dahan are taking out cities.
Yeah.
So 3 or 4,
that's solid.
Like we're saying, you don't
do realize
need 6.
some spirits only ever get to 3 or 4.
Right. And we're saying like this is like, oh, what a bummer, 3 or 4.
Yeah.
No, like just because there's 6 doesn't mean you have to get to 6, is what we're saying.
You're slaving away at working on that top track. Trying to make progress, and then what about that bottom track? Huh?
Oh,
well, yeah, right, yeah.
That was easy. I did that.
It's so easy. Like, I did that like turn 1.
But yeah, I think as we get into more of the moderate complexity, there's going to be crazy different opening plays.
Yeah.
But
obviously, you can pull from different places to do various things.
Yeah.
I think with the Growth 3 starter, I think it's naturally a good idea to pull from bottom instead of top track.
Definitely.
Because if you pull from top track, you're not getting another energy increase.
No.
It stays at 1. Sure, you're getting closer to improving it, but you still only have 2 cards, which means you can't trigger Thundering Destruction.
Right.
So I think it's just better since, hey, if I pull from the first option on the bottom track, it unlocks a 3-card play, which means that I can now play Lightning's Boon, Harbingers of Lightning, and Shatter Homesteads for a level 1 innate, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Turn 1, 4 powers, one of them is an innate. That's not bad.
2 towns gone.
And you're still saving an energy for a future turn.
Yeah.
Now, I don't think I've ever done this.
Okay.
I have heard of some people doing a growth 1 turn 1.
Ugh.
It is very uncommon to see, in general, people doing an option that lets you reclaim cards when you have all your cards at game start. The idea behind this one is the bad guys haven't done anything to you yet, so you don't have to worry about ravages.
And you're so fast.
So quickly, let's go ahead and try to get some cards in our hand ASAP. I think this is a risky play, but I can see the value in it. Because getting a certain card early, I can see a really good...
Sure, if you get a 0 costing perfect miner or something, that could work.
It can work. It's just,
I really want to grow. I
Yeah.
think you need to place a
Yep.
presence. I understand the theory behind it. But
I
what if
am
you have a bad
too
draw?
hesitant.
What if you have a bad draw, Ryan?
Oh, geez.
I'd be like, what a waste. What a waste of a turn.
Yeah. Well, when talking about what a waste of cards to find, what do we want to look for, John?
Oh, favorite power draws?
Mm-hmm. Now, we did say before, Sacred Site cards, obviously, we don't mind grabbing, and we can look for those. Range 0 cards, not so much, but whether minors or majors, there is an obvious thing.
Yeah.
Oh, well, there are cards that are simply perfect for elements.
Yes.
So if those are minor cards that we're talking about, you can say, oh, cards that are perfect for elements, Flesh Rot Fever.
Yes.
Fire, Air, Water.
Yes.
Steam Vents.
Mm-hmm.
It's phenomenal for that. Of
Fire,
course, I get that this will potentially be a hilarious joke, but I don't care. Elemental Boon.
No. It's the perfect elements.
For lightning, it is great.
Yeah,
Turns out it's great for pretty much everyone.
If you see it, always pick it. It's very good.
Steam Vents also honestly is really good. It is range 0, but it's great for the fact that you could just straight up destroy and explore.
Well, nothing's building on top of you.
Right.
Which is good.
Right, because bad guys will come to you,
Yeah.
and the explorers will be the first of those bad guys that come
Correct.
to you. So popping an explorer, not bad.
Mm-hmm.
In Flesh Rot Fever case, hey, ending a disease, not bad.
And you could do it in the fast phase because you can make it fast.
I do think there are some that for their effect are like really, really good.
Okay.
So I really think Entrancing Apparitions is great. It gives you air. It gives you water. Water is great because you need water to trigger the highest level of Thundering Destruction. And you even need it for level 3 Thundering Destruction at a cheaper rate because Raging Storm costs 3 energy. Entrancing Apparitions is just 1. Entrancing Apparition says defend 2. Not bad. Getting a defend card. That's cheap.
Oh, of course.
But I like it because if no invaders are present, gather up to 2 explorers.
Ooh.
Which means if you play this right, you can prevent 2 lands from building. Because 2 lands somewhere on your board got explored and they have 1 explorer on them. If there is a land that's adjacent to both of those lands that were just explored and it's empty, play this. They come in. Ideally, Dahan are there. Defend 2. Explorers aren't going to hurt the Dahan. They counterattack, kill them.
That.
If that's not the case, you can continually, throughout the game, bring explorers in and potentially Raging Storm those dudes to kill them to get better value for them.
Sure.
Okay, who are we kidding? Gift of Power. It only has water. That's the only element that it gives you that you need for your Innates. Oh my goodness. Target spirit. You gain a minor power. Oh!
We talked about minor builds. Lightning can only do a minor build.
It's just great. It's great for you to get those. I think defend cards are good. Heck, even cards that have just fire or water or air.
Sure.
But like
in
a quantity of 2 or even 1, preferably 2, heck, preferably 3, but those it's pretty rare. You know, like you said, Swarming Wasps.
That's a great one.
It's a great one.
Now you're a beast user.
Now you're a beast user. You do now care about Blight, but it's free and it gives you fire air.
Yeah, perfect.
So that's not bad.
No.
I think Dry Wood explodes in smoldering splinters is good.
Okay.
It can't go in wetlands, but it gives you a fire and an air element. Gives you a plant as well. But it's funny because it says you may spend 1 energy to make this power fast. LOL.
Yeah, you have to.
You can completely shortcut that and do the rest of the power.
Fast.
It is range 0, but it's a good get off my lawn card. 2 fear, 1 damage.
Yeah.
Not bad. Not bad at all. Call to Migrate or Call to Tend can be pretty good, honestly.
Ooh, speaking of the calls, I have a good one.
Really quick. Call to 10, use Dahan to get rid of Blight, Harbingers of Lightning them into that spot. Ooh. Call to Migrate, just simply moves Dahan more often.
Yeah, that's great.
That's why they're good.
And good elements in Call to Migrate.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
fire,
it gives you fire air.
Yeah, which is what you need for lightning. This is kind of cheating.
Go for it.
I think this might be a cheat because I'm pretty sure this power was in the lightning progression deck. If any of those remember those. If any of you players out there remember playing with that. But Call to Bloodshed. It has a fire. You only get fire, but fire's still important with lightning. But
it's been such a long time since a power progression path.
I know. Do you remember that? Because I think they have like a little yellow corner on them.
I did that literally one time.
But
literally, I did that one time.
So this power, it's pretty simple. It's either 1 damage per Dahan or gather up to 3 Dahan. But when you pair this with Harbingers, you have the potential of doing 5 damage in one land.
That's crazy.
Or even more if you have
great.
more to hunt. And you can group them up, and you kind of become this mini Thunderspeak where you can gather them up, and then next turn you can do 1 damage.
Yeah, it's yellow corner.
Is that the yellow corner? I think it is kind of cheating, but I'm like, I see what they were going for with the
I can see what they were going for, yeah.
For major power, I like a cheap one. And I like Power Storm.
Power Storm is so great.
I'm so biased towards supportive powers.
I mean, it gives you fire air.
It gives you fire air.
And its threshold, which is so great.
You just need 1 more sun.
You just need sun.
Yeah, because you already have the fire and air in your hands.
Right.
And then now you get to be more
Target
supportive.
Spirit gains 3 energy. Oh,
nice.
You can literally, I'm not even kidding, you can just stop right there and you're like, I love it.
Of course you can target other people, but let's be honest, you can target yourself.
You can target yourself. And yes, once this turn, target Spirit may repeat a power card by paying its cost again, which is phenomenal.
But the threshold, you can repeat more.
3 power cards.
Yeah, so that's silly. I like that one.
And again, see, the thing is so cool is that you're probably going to have a lot of miners. That probably cost 0.
Yes.
So by paying their costs, do I have like 4 0 costing cards?
Yes, I do.
Woohoo! Bit of a cheat code for majors. Unlock the gates of deepest power.
Yes.
Because does it have the elements you need? Maybe.
Yeah. All of them?
The joke here, unlock the gates of deepest power, is a fun power card because it gives you every single element in the game.
Yeah.
All 8. And even if you don't hit the threshold, it says that target spirit gains a major power card. You draw 2, though, not draw 4, but you do get to keep that major power card without having to forget another one.
And there it is.
Oh, so
And
great.
there it is. That is huge for Lightning. If I don't have to forget something, and I get to add to my hand a heavy hitter, and hopefully maybe of those 2, it's a cheap one like a Power Storm, or, I mean, we'll eventually talk about Storm Swath. But
we're getting there.
but like, if I can find a good one and don't have to forget, huge. Cheat code. I love that major for Lightning.
Yep. I think Transform into a Murderous Darkness
Ooh.
also could maybe be a decent one. It says target spirit may choose one of their sacred sites. And as Lightning, we're going to have sacred sites. Now, it says in that land, replace each of their presence with Badlands. Now, the replaced presence leaves the game and push any one of those Badlands. Then 3 fear and 3 damage per presence replaced.
Wow.
So you are sacrificing a sacred site.
But it could be worth it.
But think about it this way. Oh, perfect. For the end game? Totally.
End game? Finish the game?
I like to think of this one as this card uses a specific ammo. It requires sacred sites. We are simply someone who's going to have a lot of that.
Yeah.
Now, the card is quite expensive. It is 6 energy, but it gives you moon, plant, fire, water, air.
There it is.
It gives us the elements that we really want, and the threshold requires 2 fire, which we will very easily have, 2 air, which we will very likely have.
The card's giving us one of them.
And 3 moon. This card gives us 1 moon already, and by this time, if it's the late game, we're probably going to have minor cards that probably have moon elements on them. And it just says 1 damage in an adjacent land and 1 damage in an adjacent land. Here's what's funny, though. Remember, in the first half of the card, we just replaced each of our presents with Badlands, and then we pushed those Badlands in adjacent lands.
Yeah.
Which means 1 damage in an adjacent land could be 2 in 2 lands.
So you can take out towns now.
So this means that you could do 6 damage in a land where the sacred site was, because it says 3 damage per presence replaced, and since it was a sacred site, then we have 2 at least. So that means at least 2 presence sacrifice, 3 damage per presence, 6 damage, turned into Badlands, push those Badlands. Now Raging Storm looks a little bit better. Then we do 2 damage in adjacent lands, so that's 8 damage that you're doing, plus 3 fear, and you probably got a little bit more fear from that.
Yeah.
With
what a nuke that was. The bomb going off.
So pretty cool. I thought that one would be like an actual decent one.
I want to bring up a minor that is defensive. I like Fire in the Sky. I know it's not
I had that one too.
It's not like straight defense.
No,
First of all,
but it's
fear.
cheap.
Love fear.
Yes.
Keep adding to the fear gain that Lightning has. but it's cheap, and you add a strife. So even if it's extra damage, you
it's huge.
skirt around that.
This saves Harbingers of Lightning.
You think so?
It does. Well, you can pop a building quick.
Yeah.
You pop a city, strife the town.
Wow.
Now there's just an explorer left.
Good point.
Hypothetically, I don't know.
Or even like Shattered Homesteads, pop the town, there's a city remaining, strife the city.
It's fast, it costs 1,
Yeah.
but it requires a sacred site. And we have those.
Oh, LOL. We make those all the time. And I do like the strife. Like, the one thing Lightning is really missing is defense. And now we're adding that, and it has good elements. Yeah, I like this one. I think this one's Branch and Claw, but this was a good one, for sure.
Yeah, it is Branch and Claw.
Okay.
But another reason why this card is so good is because it gives 3 elements. It gives us fire and air, which is so good.
So good.
But it gives us a sun, which is great for when we get our growth through sacrifice.
What? What about Power Storm? That's nice too.
Because growth through sacrifice gives us a fire,
broken,
but it has a threshold of 2 sun.
Which is weird because it don't,
Yeah, so Fire in the Sky is great because when we eventually find Growth Through Sacrifice, we can proliferate. We can destroy one of our presence. Okay, yeah, whatever, that's fine. Because target spirit gets to either remove a blight from one of their lands, LOL, or add a presence to one of their lands.
So just add it right back.
Proliferate, baby. You get to grow.
Yes.
Do you know how badly you need to put presence out there?
So badly.
Very badly. So
that's a good one. Great one. Ooh, what do you think about Pyroclastic Flow?
Okay.
So that one destroys all explorers.
Yeah.
Which is a huge thing that, we're trying to make good use out of Raging Storm and Control. But if you can destroy all of them, and you get extra damage with it.
You get your fire.
You get your fire, your elements. I don't think it's that hard to threshold. I think it's like a mountain you need. Mm-hmm. It also requires fire and air, which you have. Mm-hmm. It does add a blight. But again, you're not really worried about blights.
It's not the worst.
And only if it's jungle or wetlands it adds a blight.
Because of that, ironically, I thought Poison Dew might work.
Ooh, yes. Another one.
Because it's destroying explorers, which we're not good at.
Yes.
It gives us fire, water.
Yeah.
We like the water.
We do.
Like the fire.
Love the fire.
I wish it gave us air, but we probably have air somewhere else.
Yeah, all our cards have
And
it.
for every card that has an air that we still play slow, means that we can use that power's air to use on this card, which, so long as the land is jungle or wetland, we get to destroy all.
Look at us finding all these.
It's anti-explorer.
Yeah.
We're padding.
Explorer cards. But it is a weakness for Lightning.
Yeah.
They can't do much other than Raging Storm.
I think Gift of Living Energy is really good.
Oh, yes. You need that energy.
The card art on that one literally shows River and Lightning combining and powering up.
Yes.
Which is so great. You need the energy, man.
You need the energy.
It's so good.
Free.
It's free.
It has a fire.
And whether you find it for yourself or a teammate finds it to give to you, it's great. Target spirit gains an energy. But if the target spirit is not yourself, then they get 2 energy instead. Then if you have at least 2 sacred sites, target spirit gains a 3rd.
Nice.
So hopefully your friend has sacred sites too. And even if you were giving it to yourself, you have sacred sites. So you're probably at least getting 2 energy.
It's perfect.
I know 2 energy doesn't sound like a lot, but when you realize that this card is free and you're giving yourself 2 energy.
You're getting paid to use it.
Yeah.
Which is
great. Has 3 elements, gives you fire, which we like, gives us plant, and it gives us sun for growth through sacrifice.
Back to growth through sacrifice. Find that card and win the game. Oh, I want to bring up a Badlands one. I like Sear Anger into the Wounded Lands.
There you go.
I mean, it's really simple. You just add a Badlands. Or if there's a wild and invaders are present, it's 1 fear and 1 damage. That one you really won't have a wilds a lot, but adding a Badlands for 0 costing in any land.
Right.
Now Raging Storm,
getting better.
It's getting better. It's becoming a major power. It's worth the 3 energy. And we've talked about Desiccating Winds. If you can find...
I do think Desiccating Winds is good.
Any type of Badlands power, because you're reclaiming so much, that's why we're just finding these Badlands. And ones with fire, these are very useful.
And Desiccating Winds gives fire and air, as well as earth.
Yeah.
It requires you to have a sacred site, which you were like, all right, cool. If land has a Badlands doing damage, then add a Badlands.
Perfect.
Great for repetitious play. It really does turn into that major eventually. In the same way that Elemental Boon was great, I think Gift of Nature's Connection is
Another
great.
great one, yeah. The Jagged Earth Elemental Boon.
Yep, seriously. No, that is exactly what it is. Target spirit either gains 2 energy, or gains 2 of a single element. Their choice. Oh!
How about extra air so I can make extra things fast, or extra fire for thundering destruction?
If you target another spirit, you gain an element of your choice, so you can give this to a friend, but it's a fast power that's free that can go to any spirit.
What if you give yourself those 2 water that is so hard for you to get?
Yeah,
like things
seriously.
like that. That
or
is a strong power.
literally, just like what we said with Gift of Living Energy, the other one, you can give yourself 2 energy for free. This one lets you do that with less strings attached.
Yeah,
you can
good
just
point.
straight up, bam, do it.
Yeah,
Or
here's energy.
gain 2 elements. Sweet.
Yeah.
The card itself doesn't give you any elements, but that's fine because
You get to pick
you
what
can
the elements
literally give yourself
Yeah.
an element. 2 elements, perhaps.
Mhm.
Like you said, Haunts and Embers, great.
It's a good one. You
Moon,
move things,
air, fire.
Move things closer to you.
I think what's great is that it's bad guy manipulation.
Yes, what you need.
Because bad guy manipulation is phenomenal for Raging Storm.
And
2
we're-
fear, push up to 2 either towns or explorers. Then, if the target land has any blight, which, I mean, who be kidding, you probably will have with lightning once or twice. And that's not a downer against lightning. I'm just saying that look at these blight buddy cards that are great. Like
Yeah.
you said, if the target land has blight, 2 fear, then push 2 more of those
so now
dudes.
it's 4 fear.
Right.
And you're okay with blights.
potentially 4 explorers.
Wow.
Here's what's funny. At the end of the card, add a blight. Oh, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. If target land has blight, then 4 fear push even more people. That'd be a shame if I just placed a blight out there.
Put another blight there.
Quicken
Look
the
at
Earth.
us okay with blights.
Yeah.
Look at us. We've
Look
changed.
at us. Look at us.
Who would've thought?
I do think Quicken the Earth Struggles is good for this. It's just a classic,
Solid
hey,
defense.
defend 10 or do 1 damage to each building.
Yeah,
Pair
solid.
this with Raging Storm. Not bad.
Mhm.
You requires a Sacred Site. I think Lure of the Unknown is great because it gives you, yes, Plant and Moon, but more importantly, it's a free card that gives you Fire, Air, Gather, and
Yes.
Explore or a town. Gathering
need,
Explorers is phenomenal. I do think, as far as minors, this will just be the last one for
Okay.
me. Spur On. Oh, man.
Oh. Extra
Spur
card
On.
play.
Whether you play it to yourself or a friend gives it to you.
Extra card play, Ryan.
Oh,
wow.
Fire, air, and sun for growth attack. And if you target
Power
if you target a spirit other than yourself, they gain 1 energy. But target spirit may immediately get another card play.
So
That is
find a
great.
0-costing minor and play an extra card play.
All right, there are 2 mages we got to talk about.
So there's Storm Swath.
And Talons of
Of
Lightning.
Lightning.
Take Storm Swath.
So Storm Swath you can actually afford. I wish you started with this power.
This is John's Raging Storm.
This is Raging Storm. Again, it's almost identical. It costs 3. It's a slow power as fire, air, and water.
So far, if you stopped right there, it is literally identical.
Literally the same things. It does require a Sacred Site now, so that is different, but target land is any. So the effect, 2 fear. In both the origin land and target land, 1 damage each invader.
Love it.
So strong now.
I mean, it's literally the same deal.
But now it's 2 lands.
And
that
you
get
get
to
2
do it.
fear.
And 2 fear.
It's great.
If you get the threshold, 2 fire, 3 air, 2 water, hopefully you can get this.
I think it's easy.
I think it's easy. An additional fear, and now this power has additional range. 1 extra range.
And Lightning likes having range. I should have mentioned it.
Yes.
Reach and Grasp is also great.
Oh, that's a huge one for lightning. I agree.
Mhm.
And a land adjacent to both the origin and target land, 1 damage to each invader. So now we get to do this again.
So now the card with this effect has range 2, which
Yes.
means you can target somewhere farther away, which means if you do go range 2 away, there is an adjacent land in between you and target land that you can now do stuff to.
Isn't that crazy? Last part, in the lands where you did damage, destroy 1 town. Oh,
And-
wow.
In
So
lands where you did damage,
So you
that's 3 lands.
3 lands, 3 towns, all these invaders gone. Or if there's bad lands, it could be another town, a city. I don't know. This power is incredible.
Do you know what I want to try?
Hmm.
I want to try revamped Lightning where we take that growth 1 and growth 3 idea.
Okay.
Take away the power card acquisition from growth 1, give it to growth 3, and replace Raging Storm with Storm
Oh,
Swath.
that'd be so fun.
And see what happens to this spirit.
Oh, that'd be so fun.
I think there could be a fun time.
That'd be a really fun time.
And the original OG ultimate for Lightning in the base deck. Yes, remember, there are no such things as ultimate for character, but it's just fun to
This
think
one is
about
pretty
them.
much that, yeah.
You know, like if you're an anime or you're like, my ultimate attack! and
Ultimate
whatnot.
power.
It's just fun. So, Towns of Lightning, 6 energy.
Oh, no. I hope you get support.
You get 2 elements of fire and air. We like them. It's fast, thankfully. Heck, even if it was slow, we wouldn't care.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
From range 1 of anywhere, it can only go in a mountain or wetland, but that's okay.
Yeah.
3 fear, 5 damage.
Wow.
That is solid.
Yeah.
Then if you have 3 air, 3 fire, which that is pathetic.
You can do that turn 1. Literally
You
turn
can
1.
literally do that turn 1. This card gives you fire and air, which means that the threshold when you play this card is 2 air, 2 fire, respectively. It says destroy 1 town in each adjacent land and increase this power's range to 3.
Here's another range boosting power for lightning.
So remember when it said it only goes to mountains or wetlands? Yes, the majority of your damage goes to mountains, wetlands. I get it. But you can still pop towns in
every land,
which means
adjacent.
Jungles or sands.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
3 range away?
That's great.
That's crazy.
It's phenomenal.
Yeah, so a great one. A little costly, so hopefully maybe you have a partner, River.
Sure.
Someone could be throwing you energy.
Shifting memory.
You got Volcano. Yeah.
Serpent.
You can have some help.
Mm-hmm.
But
whether with, like you said, energy gain or getting a major power without having to forget it.
Yep. Huge.
And also in Memories and Serpent's case, elements.
Yeah.
Too. Because, like, hey, Gift of Flowing Power gives a fire and a water element, and we really like that.
And the higher tiers especially, yeah.
So now, the last thing we're going to talk about, how do aspects affect any of what we've talked about today?
And we've kind of touched on aspects a little bit.
And we have. So we're not going to go as in-depth.
No.
Pandemonium. Let's talk about Pandemonium.
Okay, let's start there.
Pandemonium changes you into more of a defender.
Yes.
It lets you strife bad guys and get fear for it. I think this improves Lightning's use of Harbingers of Lightning, because this means that you can now protect a Han who go into a land by strifing the bad guys that go in there. Now they can counterattack for you for free without any risk. Remember how you had a foot in the door for that power? Well, now it can be used a lot more often.
Yeah.
It is weird losing Thundering Destruction.
It's weird losing Thundering Destruction because that's such a strong innate. Yeah. But having the fear and strife, and like you said, now another card gets more useful immediately. You don't need to find a defend power. You don't need to go diving into the Miner's deck. So I think this might be a favorite. I think I might like Pandemonium better because I like fear. We both like fear. I even picked them in my All-Stars because I just like the consistent fear that they have. They can earn 7 fear a turn.
Yeah.
And then that's not even counting that Dahan counterattack that you're talking about, where you're setting up, a counter fight and knocking down cities, towns, whatever. I think what's cool is they become this like support fear defensive spirit. Because usually that's Bringer. Bringer can flip a fear card so everyone can plan around it and give elements, and they're defensive. They have dread apparitions, and they obviously are fear spirits. But now Panda Lightning's scooting in. They have Lightning's Boon still that they are nearly having at least every other turn. Yeah. And they're generating a lot of fear, and they're not blighting. They're being really defensive. So I'm like, there's not many fear support spirits out there.
Yeah.
In that way. There's literally only Bringer. Because Shadows and Shroud, like, they can be supportive, but I wouldn't say they're support.
I'd say Foreboding would be good.
Foreboding, definitely. I don't know. Yeah, I really like Panda Lightning a lot.
It does make you go more for Moon.
Yeah, that's true, because it changes the innate. You don't need water anymore.
So every time we mentioned a card that required Moon, Pandemonium Lightning will be slightly more incentivized to go there.
Yeah. I don't think a lot changes with the builds. Like, you still probably want to go minors with Pandemonium. Like,
I think so.
We'll talk about other aspects that really change the build.
Sure.
So usually you're just going after bottom track minors and maybe get 2 energy up top. But yeah, I do like the defensive fear version of this spirit. I really do. Yeah. I think it's fun.
Here's something that I can't say for all the low complexity spirits, but I can say with Lightning. I really legitimately love every single aspect.
I think they have the best slew of them.
Right. I think they have the best selection.
Yeah.
I love it.
They're all so different.
There's not one that I dislike.
No.
I love all
I agree with you.
Let's talk about arguably my favorite, Wind.
Yeah, this one's great.
Wind.
So
I
good,
love Wind. You do lose Swiftness of Lightning. So I personally think that just as Pandemonium increased the value of Harbingers of Lightning, I think Wind Lightning increases the value of Lightning's Boon.
100%.
Even for yourself. So what's cool is that Exaltation of the Stormwind is the new innate that you get. Now you have 2 innates. In Pandemonium, you replace Thundering Destruction. With Wind, you still keep it.
Yeah.
It says you get another innate. So it's really cool to have Lightning with 2 innates.
2 innates. I like that.
And it's so easy to trigger. So This one, Wind Lightning, just very quickly, Wind Lightning is a support spirit. You can now support others, which is really cool. For 1 air, you and target spirit may make one of your non-major slow powers fast.
One air.
Yeah. One air. Let's just go ahead and remind everyone that every single one of your cards has air. Turn 1, even if you don't do grow 3, you play a single card, bam.
Harbingers.
You and a friend, just like that, can be fast.
Every single turn, you are triggering wind. The wind innate.
I really like level 2. 3 air. You can still do this with your starting hand. You and target spirit each gain +1 range with all of your powers this turn.
Huge.
Every power gets range 1. I think that is huge for Thundering Destruction, which was range 1 of a Sacred Site. Even your own power cards really benefit from having range. I think this is so good on Ocean. I think it's so good on Volcano.
Yes. Lure.
Oh, yes, Lure. I think this is great for Wildfire. I think it's great.
Oh, wow. Huge
I do,
on
seriously.
Wildfire.
I think it's even good for Thunder Speaker.
Definitely.
I think range is so great. It's so easy.
I'm never mad about having extra range.
Right.
In general.
Remember, you are giving a friend a slow power that they can now do fast.
Yeah.
And they're getting +1 range. I really like this level 3 with, 4 air, 1 water.
Yeah.
We are still within the realm of
starting hand.
You can do this. You and target spirit, you can sense a theme here. Every single thing that you do to a friend, you give to yourself. And that's just fun. You and target spirit may each push up to 2 explorers from one of your respective lands.
The weakness that Lightning had. How many minors did we say, and this one deals with explorers, and this one deals with explorers?
Wind increases ranging storms value as well. Because now you directly have bad guy, and in this case, specifically, explore control. From one of your respective lands, get off my lawn!
Group them up somewhere. Push them to a group of explorers and then Raging Storm them.
What I really like about Wind is that you still have Lightning's Boon.
Yes.
So, to one friend, I'll give you speed twice. Because 2 powers that are slow can now be fast.
Yeah.
But with someone else, another friend, I will give you 1 speed increase
and then I get
and range.
Yeah.
Which is great. So it's a little bit different of a package. Or you can target the same friend.
Yeah.
So
make them all fast.
3 cards are fast. You get range on all your cards. Then you can go ahead and push 2 explorers from your lands. Oh, I love this card. It's so simple, but it's so great.
Say the top tier.
And then the last level, at level 4, it requires 5 air and 2 water, and that is repeat this power. So just...
If you get to this...
Yeah. It's great.
Because, like you were saying, how you can make different people fast, with this now repeated and Lightning's Boon, you can make 3 separate people fast. You're basically making the game blitz.
Mm-hmm.
You're making it the blitz scenario. You're only doing 1 spirit phase. You're only doing the fast phase.
There is something very cool about Wind and the new innate power that it gives you that I absolutely love.
What is it?
And I think this is actually really good even for beginner players. When you look at what elements you need to trigger this, if you have Thundering Destruction level 1, you have Exaltation of Stormwind level 1. If you have Thundering Destruction level 2, you have this one level 2. If you have Thundering Destruction level 3, you have Wind level 3.
That's easy to keep track of.
Literally, Wind's air and water requirements are identical to Thundering Destructions, but they just don't need the fire.
Wow.
There's an exception to this with level 1 where you just need 1 air. But besides that, they're the exact same.
That's cool.
Meaning, like I said, if you get Thundering Destruction, you do get this one. And it's so easy to remember. I love that.
So, this is probably a hot take, or I don't know. It's hard for me to go back to base Lightning when Wind is available.
It really is.
Wind is just better base.
To me, that is the new normal.
It is. Okay.
We've said it before, and we'll say it again. For Shadows, Reach is the new normal. For me, in my opinion, and every one of us, you can have one of these aspects be normal for you. But for me, Wind Lightning is the new normal.
It's just Lightning 2.0.
Oh, so great.
Because we've already talked about that mini game. You have to sometimes choose what to make power slow or fast. You can maybe Lightning Spoon yourself, like you said.
Yeah.
Or I just make 1 power fastest turn. You don't always have to go fast. So now there's that choice, and you can plan it out, and that range, and that explorer control. Like, this is just an upgraded Lightning in my mind.
Do you know what's another wonderful thing about this card? What is the usual answer that you tell somebody when they ask you the question, Hey, do you have it? 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 Lightning spoon. Can you make me fast?
I have to reclaim this turn.
Not with wind. It's an innate.
Now I just need an air.
I can only do one with it. One power that's slow cannot be fast.
That's still strong.
And it can't be a major, but there's a lot of good unique cards in minors.
Or even innates.
Yeah.
Massive flooding fast.
Hello.
That'd be
Great.
Yeah.
But now I can give you a pseudo lightning spoon every turn.
Right. So, yeah.
Yeah.
There's not enough we can say about wind.
Yeah.
It's so great. We love it. We love playing it.
Yeah. Take us home, John.
Immense.
Oh, yeah.
The broken one. Real quick.
So much fun.
Basically, your top track grants you twice as much energy, and your bottom track gets you half as many card plays.
Oh. So, remember how strong your bottom track was? And how weak your top track was?
Flip it.
Literally flip
it
script.
around. So, playing power cards during the spirit phase costs 2 card plays.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's a first.
That's new.
Nobody does that.
Mm-mm.
Costs 2 card plays. That's what we mean, by the way, when we say flip it.
Yeah.
Because, yes, your top track doubled, but it never said your bottom track gets halved. In this way, it kind of does, but it's worded this way for a specific reason.
So if you have 2 card plays, that means you only have 1.
Yeah.
Because it costs 2. So usually you can do 4, or even if you have 6 card plays because it maxes out at 6.
Sure.
That means 6, it costs 2, so you only have 3 card plays.
Yeah. So, John, what if I have an odd number of printed card play?
Oh, then I have an unused one.
So, on the card play track, what if I go ahead and get my first card play increase from 2 to 3, but I can still play only 1 card?
Right. So you have an unused card play. So that means if you have any unused card plays at the end of a spirit phase, you get to gain an element of your choice.
Oh.
Ooh. So
basically, this means that we now have the any element on our card play track.
Yeah, you get to pick them. And it gets even better. For each major power you play, gain 2 different elements of your choice.
Now that
so
is
now
crazy.
You have now you're just thresholding majors.
As if it wasn't obvious that this is incentivizing you towards major power card play. It's as if they heard us.
Yeah.
Hey, look how good lightning is for minor powers. Let's give you one that is the exact opposite major powers.
Now you're major powers. I mean, Immense becomes one of the best major slingers in the game.
Oh my word.
I just witnessed you do it
so good.
In our 6-player game. And
you know how good it is to have back against the wall when you have a fully leveled up bottom track?
That is true.
That means I have 7 card play, which means I have 3 cards I can play with. Oh, I get a permanent any element.
Yep.
No, it's important to realize that it's if you have any unused card play, you only ever get 1. It's not, for each unused card play you get 1.
Just any.
But for each major I play, I gain 2 different elements of my choice?
Yeah. I mean,
John, I played 2 majors this turn.
And each of them are thresholded. All of them.
Did I just give myself 2 fire, 2 air?
Yeah, I was about to say, you fully unlock whatever major you play.
The first major, 1 fire, 1 air, please. The next major, 1 fire, 1 air, please.
Now we get both of them.
And then for my any, water, please.
It's almost like an easier memory, because memory, has to, observe the land to, gain elements and stuff, or gift themselves. Immense is just I just get them.
Here's a hot take. Let me know what you think about it.
Tell me.
Immense, in my opinion, is one of, if not the, beginner spirits for major powers.
Yeah.
I think it's very easy to understand. I think it is very solid.
That's a good point. And new players are scared of major powers. They don't want to lose their starting hand.
Get rid of Raging Storm.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But I like the elements.
I'm in
Okay, who cares? You get the elements back so easy anyway.
And like you said, it's a simple math. You double the top, and then whatever you don't play on the bottom, you get an element for it.
And that's the thing that's so cool. It doesn't matter if the major that you acquire when forgetting Raging Storm, oh no, it doesn't have fire or air. But your new major A might have one of those. And even if it doesn't have one of those, whenever you play a major power, gain 2 different elements of your choice.
There's your fire and air.
Bam, you got it back. Done.
Then I think that's easier than memory to comprehend. Immense. Yeah. I think that's a great
and that's my
point.
opinion. That's my opinion. I just think Immense Lightning is the
easiest,
perfect beginner introductory character for major power.
I agree. And what's cool is you still have Lightning's Boon making those slow majors fast. Or you still have your special rule of making slow powers fast.
Yeah.
So you don't lose Swiftness of Lightning. You don't lose Lightning's Boon. So you can make all these heavy hit majors fast. Cast on the Briny Deep doing the fast phase.
Yep.
You can afford it. I mean, eventually you can. Or, Pill of Living Flame. Whatever you want to do. These slow powers make them fast.
If you're immense, I think a Growth 2 start that you talked about is a lot more viable. Growth 2 immediately then into Growth 1. Because turn 1, they're not ravaging. So let me do Growth 2, pull 2 from top track. Now I have 2 energy exposed, which is actually 4.
Yeah.
I still only have 2 card play. That's fine. My card play is still 1. But now when I go ahead and do Growth 1 on turn 2, I'm gaining a power card. Let's go a major, chuck either Harbingers or Raging Storm, get another energy. And this is if you don't play any cards on your first turn.
Yeah.
You literally have 9 energy. You literally can Briny Deep turn 2.
Wow.
I mean, you have to find it, of course.
Of course.
But, that's possible.
Yeah.
That's great.
And that's immense. I mean, listeners, you hear what we're saying? Each aspect is very different.
Right.
And extremely fun to play.
Yeah. Yep. So, especially with the aspects, if you were just to play this character, heck, base is still fun anyway.
Base is still fun. We like base.
Base is still fun,
like
but look at the wide variety of experiences you can have.
They change Lightning.
I love it.
The support, the fear defense, the major slinger.
I love what each one of them does. Base Lightning, once you understand who they are, what does Pandemonium do? Your fear was okay, you have no defense. Now your defense is great.
And you're one of the best
your
fear's
fear's great.
Yeah.
Base Lightning is all about minor power spam, and they're great at it. Immense. Now you can go crazy majors instead.
Spam those.
And then Wind is just Base Lightning 2.0.
You were supportive, and now you're mega support.
Yep, it's great.
Oh, we did it.
So there we go. Yeah. The first time we did this, it took 49 minutes. Not so this time.
Oh, did we get a little bit longer?
Whatever.
We're a little more experienced, I guess. A little more knowledgeable.
But we had a lot to talk about, and we love this spirit. And we hope you do too. This is a phenomenal starting place. Spirit, for me, it was the first spirit I ever played as. Technically, that's a trick statement because I did a two-handed game my very first time at Spirit Island.
I can't believe you did two-handed your first time.
Yeah.
Good on you.
It was Earth and Lightning, so I can legitimately say Earth was my first spirit and Lightning was my first spirit. I played them both at the same time. And I loved them.
Lightning was my second.
Yeah.
I did Shadows first. And that was fun. But yeah, Lightning was like a kind of a first love.
I think I was Earth for that game.
Yeah, you were Earth. Yeah, you were.
Because Laura was River, Peter was Lightning, I think.
Yeah,
that was our first game.
That was our first ever game.
Yeah.
But yeah, Lightning was a fun first time for me. I think a lot of people have like a first love with Lightning.
Yeah.
Because it's just fun to go fast, blow things up.
Sure.
But there is some depth there.
Yeah.
I think we discovered as we talked it out. It's more than just, bang them up type of thing.
Sure. So there is the examination and analysis of Lightning Swift Strike's tool and kit. We're very excited to hear what you all have to say next time.
Can't wait for it.
But until that time, we will catch you all on the Flippity Flip.
Peace out!
Before you go, we'd like to have a quick word.
Thanks, Editing Ryan. I'll take it from here. So, one thing that we said a while back was, if ever an episode is labeled with a part 1 or a part 2 or whatever, that means that the next episode will simply be the next subsequent part. So if you see part 1, the next one will be part 2. And if it says part 2, the next one will be part 3. And only under special or unique circumstances is that formula going to be disrupted. Well, here we are in the present day. I do really hope that you enjoyed Lightning Analysis. We worked really hard on it. It took a lot of time to compose and make, so I really hope that you genuinely enjoyed it. But there have been some really exciting,
huge
developments within the Spirit Island community. We are coming in from the present day now to talk about what happened today. So, Horizons of Spirit Island was just announced. Oh my goodness. What the what? And you all will remember back in Season 1 how we had this bomb dropped on us when Spreading Rot was announced and revealed. We were like, what?
Whoa, we have to play a game. We have to record something.
That kind of disrupted the schedule in that time. And in a similar fashion, we gotta talk about what the heck just happened. Yes, Lightning 1 is what you just heard, and so naturally Lightning 2 is what you were probably expecting to hear. But, I mean, Horizons was just announced, so with the announcement of Horizons, there is a second thing that's kind of big. So, there's a lot of excitement, and rightfully so. We have 2 expansions on the way. We have heard now that Nature Incarnate has been announced, and now Horizons has been announced. Well, if you know anything about us, we are so addicted to anything Spirit Island that if anything comes out for this game, we are just like ludicrously excited and we go crazy about anything. Heck, we did entire series about
the hype list.
We made entire series. I even made builds
what could be,
on what could happen. So like you can see the fanaticism about how we can take just any bit of information and be over the moon crazy with it. So why haven't we been so ridiculously crazy about Nature Incarnate? Where was our enthusiasm like we had before? Well, I can tell you that the happy enthusiasm still thrives and burns within us about that kind of new content. So, we've been playtesting Nature Incarnate for about, a year now?
By playtesting, we mean we play them and forget to record any actual data.
We submit data.
Laura going for comedy once again. Yes, we've been playing with the stuff from Nature Incarnate, and we've had access to it for a while. Yes, it is absolutely insane. We can talk about it for a while, but that is not the point of today. We'll save those discussions for some other time.
We're also not legally able to talk about those yet.
And like I said, we have the desire to talk about these things. We have the desire to talk about the things, but there's a lot of details here. Anyway, point being, I'm going to use these words. Next week, we will have a conversation about Horizons of Spirit Island. Don't miss it. It won't be Lightning 2, the survey results, but it'll be about this instead. Like I said before, unique circumstances, special circumstances. It has already been recorded. It came out to about 60 minutes. Be there, please.
You're not going to want to miss this one.
Unless you're one of the people that you don't want any kind of information about anything.
True.
Then skip a week.
There will be some
spoilers.
spoilers.
I'm serious. So,
but it's worth it.
That specific cat is out of that bag. So we're going to go back to the modern day present and get back to working on Guard the Isle's Heart. But we're super excited. Catch you next time.
Peace out.
Bye.
We appreciate that you took the time to listen to this episode of the Kindred Spirit Podcast. Feel free to interact with us on our socials. You can catch us on our Facebook or Instagram, as well as Board Game Geek, Reddit, and Discord. Consider supporting us on Patreon, where you'll get access to episodes early as well as our private Discord. Links to all of those will be in the description of this episode. Have a great one, and may the elements be ever in your favor.